Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and we are live here on YouTube. Once again, this was supposed to be a morning live, but unfortunately here in South Florida we had our power go out this morning. So that happened, and then I had to go on to marry this guy. So once again we found ourselves live at night again. So I guess this must be a sign from God himself to go live at night.
Exactly.
So, we're going to keep it tonight here on True School Sports, but it's your boy BT. We're here with my pops, as always. How you feeling today, Dad? You
Feeling
good?
good, real good. Yes,
You
sir.
good? Okay, now this is gonna be. I'm gonna take some time to talk. Hope everybody's doing good. Make sure you guys smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. This is gonna be a really special live. This is gonna be a really special live because honestly, I've been sitting back, I've been listening. I've been absorbing what the boxing media, the boxing writers, the boxing establishment have had to say about the fighter of the decade. And listen, we're in a new decade, but people are still talking about the fighter of the decade from the last decade. And I gotta say, I'm very disappointed in what I've been hearing. Very disappointed in what I've been hearing. So we're gonna get into a lot of that. Before we get into just my thoughts on, the Sports Illustrated naming Floyd Mayweather the fighter of the decade, no, my bad. Sports Illustrated named Andre Ward the fighter of the decade, which is even worse. And then the Boxing Writers Association of America, they rated Floyd Mayweather the fighter of the decade. So we're gonna get into all that. We're gonna dissect all that. And I'm gonna let you guys know. I want your guys' thoughts on that, and I'll give you mine as well as things progress here on True School Sports. But we're getting set up. A couple of programming reminders before we really tear into these fools is the 26th, January 26th, the Saturday. We will be live for the Danny Garcia Ivan Redkach live fight reaction. So please be on the lookout for that. I know my dad's really excited about that one.
That's a real good one. I think
Danny Garcia versus Ivan Redkach. You think
Yeah.
it's a good one?
No,
You said that with a straight face.
I'm saying just boxing in general is good just to talk about. I'm not really too thrilled of it because Garcia just went to the cherry farm. He's been there for like the last 6 years and picking up cherries.
Cherry picking.
Hopefully after that he'll step it up and do something right.
Okay, so there's that. If you guys haven't done so already, I know we went to the Bad Promotions fight card last week.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of content dropping on the channel, interviews, actual fights. So go check that out if you haven't done so already.
Yeah.
What else? What else is there?
There's another fight a week before that. Quigley and somebody else.
Quigley.
Mike Quigley and somebody else on the 18th. I meant to tell you about it. We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later. But listen, let's get into it, man. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of everything. I'm sick of the boxing establishment. Giving these guys fight of the decade. So listen, for those of you who don't know, the Boxing Writers Association of America, they gave Floyd Mayweather the fight of the decade. They said, look, Floyd, you fought an MMA fighter. So, that's a big deal.
Win?
It's on BoxRec. You go on BoxRec, it's there. Conor McGregor is there. Since it made so much money, I was reading the article and they were saying, even though Floyd Mayweather didn't fight for half the decade, his events were so big that we had to give him Fighter of the Year.
Make me laugh, though.
So look, we get into Floyd Mayweather, right? Let's just get into Floyd. And just so you guys know, I'm gonna talk a lot of shit about Floyd Mayweather. I like Floyd Mayweather. I'm a fan of him.
We tried to defend the facts.
But we're gonna call it as it is. We're gonna call it as it is here on True School.
And if you guys got some other names that he's talking, I'm talking, or whatever the case, bring your names out there.
Bring your names out there, okay?
Yeah.
But listen, if we just go by, because it's called Fighter of the Decade. It's not Businessman of the Decade. It's not Promoter of the Decade. It's not Manager of the Decade. It is Fighter of the Decade.
Based on fights?
Based on what the fuck you're doing in the ring.
Yeah.
Straight up, it's about what you're doing in that boxing ring. So when we look at what Floyd Mayweather did in the boxing ring in the decade of the 2010s, okay, he beat Shane Mosley, he beat Miguel Cotto, he beat Victor Ortiz, he beat Robert the Ghost Guerrero, he beat Marcos Maidana twice, he beat Manny Pacquiao in a 36-minute tap dancing session.
Yeah.
He fought Andre Berto in a fake retirement, and he fought Canelo at a catch weight, and he fought Conor McGregor in what was a circus. That was his decade. That's not me hating. That's the facts. That's what Floyd did in the decade. His last real boxing match, and I barely qualified as a real boxing match because he fought Andre Berto. It was in 2015. Okay, 5 years.
Right.
So that's half a decade without actually having proper fights.
Right,
Okay, he boxed Conor McGregor. To close the decade, he boxed Conor McGregor. and he boxed Tenshin Nasukawa.
How can you count
This
that?
is your fight of the decade? This is your fight of the decade.
We're not saying he's not a true businessman.
We're not saying he's not a fantastic skill, a greatly
Business,
skilled fighter.
boxing in
Come
the
on.
ring.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
We gotta do better. And really, like, look, when we look at like the ripple effect Floyd Mayweather had on boxing, you know, he was probably one of the most carefully managed fighters of the decade. He was. He did everything he could to protect that. Oh, he wasn't trying to fight Pacquiao in the early part of the decade.
Like, how can you legitimize? I don't know if they gave it to him or not, a win in boxing. How can you legitimize a guy outside the sport of boxing?
You're still stuck on that.
Yeah.
Like, look. I'm not making this up. Look. Watch. You go box rack, right?
Yeah.
Look, watch. Look at this box rack. Look at this crap. A box rack, a legitimate website. You go on box rack. Look at that pro debut, Conor McGregor. TKO. That's your fighter of the decade?
Well, MMA.
MMA fighter. Come on, man. We gotta do better boxing. We gotta do better. So it's not just so much what he did in the ring, but it's the effect he had outside the ring as well. You know, I think Floyd Mayweather, for as good of a businessman as he is, he had a negative ripple effect on boxing because a lot of younger fighters looked at him and they said, you know what? Floyd was smart. Floyd was a smart businessman. So I want to be a smart businessman. But what all of them forget is they still have to actually go to the gym. They have to train. They have to put the work in to become A-level fighters.
And I'll be honest with you, when it comes to boxing or any other sport, you got to protect, in my opinion, the integrity of the sport of boxing. And
The very little we have left.
Back when Jack Johnson and Jack Dempsey and all these other fighters were fighting, I guarantee you they didn't go pick up a man that shovels snow with big muscles or whatever, or one of those arm wrestling and say, okay, well, you know what? I want to be undefeated.
Yeah.
So I want to pick the arm wrestler, or what's it called? People that cut trees, the jack, I forgot the name of it, lumberjack.
Yeah.
And, I'm just going to wrestle him and fight him, and just because he's a lumberjack, I'm going to beat him and put him on my box rack.
That's right.
The integrity of the sports must be respected, and it must be held up to a standard that should be.
Yeah.
Everything should be based on what you did in the ring with a boxer.
Fighter.
Not MMA, not UFC, none of that
not
craziness,
YouTuber.
not knuckle, whatever you want to call him, knuckle fighting, by
In the a boxer.
boxing. That's it.
That's it. Nothing else. So, and then I think it's fair to say too, like once he signed that big Showtime deal in the early part of the decade, it had a negative effect. It's had a negative effect on the younger fighters, which is why I think in boxing now we see more entitlement, we see more ducking, we see more guys. Like sometimes I hear fighters, right? I hear fighters. It'll be like two 13-0 prospects that people want to see fight each other, and they gotta say, oh, you know, we gotta build the fight up. Like they're talking like pay-per-view fighters. Like you know pay-per-view fighter. You're a 13-0 prospect.
The bottom line is a lot of promoters, based on what the boxers have done on their own to sign contracts with, whether it's Showtime, whether at the time it was HBO, whether at the time it was There's Zone or whatever the case is. We have a big problem with PBC with that. A lot of the fighters want to stay in their own agenda or their own pay-per-view or whatever fighting
their own promotional company.
Promotion that they stay at, and that's causing a rift within the whole boxing because now the fan is suffering because some fool is crying because he didn't want to go to
cross the street
to Showtime or Fox, whatever the case may be. My whole point is, I do respect, and I will say this clearly, I do respect Floyd Mayweather. He's a smart, shrewd businessman, and he opened up the eyes for other fighters to actually extend and make more money outside, make more venues for himself besides just boxing, within boxing to make it. I understand that. That's another spectrum of fighting. But you cannot compromise, again, the integrity of the sport.
You can't reward him for being fighter of the decade.
I can't go in the ring
Go.
and beat a UFC woman fighter. I'm just joking. Just put it out there. UFC, whatever label, or MMA, and I'm going to beat the shit out of her. And now I've got to win on my record. And I am undefeated because I finished my last two records with somebody who doesn't belong in the sport of boxing in itself. Hello, guys. Somebody talk to me.
And if you want to take it to another level, okay. So Floyd Mayweather retired from boxing after he fought Andre Berto.
Yeah.
and he then went on to promote Gervonta Davis.
Yeah.
And he created the Gervonta Davis witness protection program. So this guy can't be the fight. This can't be a fight of the decade. I'm sorry. I'm not saying Floyd's not a very skilled fighter because he is. He's an A-level fighter. He's the creme de la creme type of talent in boxing. But no way in hell can this be a fight of the decade.
I just say that if you really, I always say, and I always tell my son this: whatever you do in life, whatever legacy you want to leave, whatever resume you want to live, you want to be true to yourself to do it. Can you honestly tell me that? And we're not just trying to bash. Let's get that clear, bashing Floyd. We're just trying to tell you that for you to legitimize to being fighter of the decade, you got to fight within your sport. You got to fight the true competition within your sport.
It's sad that we have to say this. It's sad that we had to actually say this. Like,
yeah. So,
it's sad that we had to actually say this because the boxing writers who have the biggest platforms in the whole sport can't do the fucking job.
And
BWAA,
I'm not taking
Chris Mannix, all you guys.
Them, from Ward, those people that Brendan's talking about, we call them here on School Sports the company man.
Company man.
Company man.
Straight up, suit and tie company man.
And I don't know if Tony Atlas ever backtracked that, and that's why I like Tony Atlas.
Teddy Atlas.
I mean, Tony's a wrestler. Sorry, we're not talking WF, so I'm talking again. There again, we don't want no WF wins. You know,
boxing,
boxing. But Teddy Atlas, that's why I like him because he says it the way it is. He calls it the way he calls it, and you don't have a lot of commentators that want to do that because they want to sit there and dick ride the company because they're afraid they're going to lose their job or they're not going to have the money that they're supposed to have. When in reality, they also are not holding themselves to a true standard as well to the integrity of the sport.
Okay. So they gave Floyd fight of the decade. So I was like, okay, I don't agree with it at all. You know, and the funny thing is a big part of the reason why they were awarding him fight of the decade was because of how big the events were and how he financially impacted the sport. That's what they were saying. So I want you guys to remember that because later on, when I get into who I think is fight of the decade, I will use that criteria for why I think my guy should be fight of the decade. You guys will hear that later. But Floyd was one guy. He was one name he was throwing around. That was thrown around, right? So then the other guy that was named fight of the decade by another big publication was Andre Ward. Andre S.O.G. Ward was named fight of the decade by Sports Illustrated. And if I thought Floyd was a joke, this one is an even bigger joke. Because at least with Floyd, I can understand, like, he was in big fights. He financially impacted the sport for the better. He in some ways, he's you know, during the last decade, he was one of the people that helped carry the sport at the box office and just in overall relevancy. Yeah. So I can understand that one. But Andre Ward, listen, Chris Mannix wrote an article about why Andre Ward is fight of the decade. You can go read it for yourself. I'm not going to sit here and read you the whole thing, but I'm going to read the last excerpt of it. Listen to this bullshit. Here's what Chris Mannix said about Andre Ward being fight of the decade. He said, I quote, Ward was never the biggest star, and only after Mayweather retired did Ward find himself atop a pound-for-pound list. But this award is for the best fighter, not best known for a 10-year stretch of accomplishments. Not little more than half of that. Ward's decade wasn't perfect, but it says here that it was better than anyone else. So here you have Chris Mannix, a reputable sports boxing writer, you know, works for DAZN. So let's just pick what he said right there. Let's pick it apart piece by piece. This man said that the award is not for the best known, but it's for a 10-year stretch of accomplishments. So if we look at the Andre Ward 10-year stretch of accomplishments, okay, this guy, he didn't box in 2014.
Wow.
Okay, he didn't box because he was retired. He didn't box in 2018.
Right.
He didn't box in 2019. So that's 3 years he didn't box of the decade.
Right.
Okay. He only fought once in 2011. He only fought once in 2012. And only fought once in 2013. That's 60% of the decade where he's either fighting one time or he's not fighting at all. And that's your fight of the decade. Okay, so then we say, okay, well, if he's a fight of the decade, then he's got to have some great wins, and there got to be some sensational performances, right? So we go to the resume. We go to the Andre Ward resume. You know, we see Chad Dawson. We see, you know, Alexander Brand. We see not one but two controversial Sergey Kovalev fights. One where people thought it was a robbery. The other one where he punched the guy in the nuts, and you know, he got awarded for it. You know, we saw, you know, Carl Froch, which was a good win. Was it Alan Green, Sakio Bika? So there's some decent names on that resume. You know, in the same article, Chris Mannix was talking up that when Andre Ward beat Chad Dawson, he said, yeah, you know, he beat Chad Dawson and he made him quit. He made him quit.
Yeah.
Okay, but what he failed to mention in the article was Chad Johnson just fought Bernard Hopkins at 175 and came in at 168. He was drained.
Hello.
So he don't mention that. You know, Edwin Rodriguez, Paul Smith, Sullivan Barrera. I mean, what? Arthur Abraham? Come on. This is your fighter of the decade? A guy who spent 60% of the decade basically not fighting. And then when he fought for the most part up until, with the exception of one or two fights, you know, like mid-B-level competition to C-class fighters. Come on, this is your fighter. This is your fighter of the decade? He can't be your fighter of the decade. And then if you want to take it, because they were using, when they were talking about Floyd, they would say, oh, well, he sold this, he sold that. He did this is the gate. So it's clear to see that they want to use money. They want to use what a guy is doing at the box office for a fighter, for how good a fighter, for how much consideration a fighter can get for being fighter of the decade. If we look at what Andre Ward was doing as fighter of the decade at the ticket office, I mean, he fought Carl Froch in the Super 6 final. Right?
Wow.
That's a big fight, right? You think, okay, Carl Froch, the American gold medalist versus the British super middleweight champion from Nottingham.
Yeah.
In the final, right? You know, of a tournament. I mean, of a tournament.
Yeah.
This is huge, right?
Supposed to.
I'm not gonna tell you how many he sold, but how many tickets do you think he sold against Carl Froch?
It's gotta be over at least.
What do you think the paid attendance was of Carl Froch, Andre Ward?
Oh my God! I'm gonna say, maybe the paid attendance.
Paid attendance. I got the exact number in front of me. What do you think it was? In fact, hold on. Before I answer it, what do you guys think the paid attendance of Andre Ward versus Carl Froch was? I'd like to know. Don't give me your answer until we get a couple here. To the people in the comments, what do you think the paid attendance for Andre Ward versus Carl Froch in the Super 6 final? What do you think it was?
If money sells.
If we're talking about ticket sales, right? And we're gonna talk about guys being a box office draw.
Yeah.
What do you think Andre Ward sold against Carl Froch for the Super 6 final? Since he's such a great fighter, since he's a fighter of the decade, right?
Yeah.
So people should be just flocking to see this guy. I mean, this guy is the gold medalist. This guy's undefeated. You know, what did he sell?
We're not disrespecting. We're just talking facts about something.
Okay, so my man Lock Dog says 80K. Shout out to Lock Dog. No, it wasn't quite 80K. It was very well short of that actually. Rob87 shout out to me, says pretty low for sure. Ward has no fan base. You damn right he has no fan base. Listen, I'm gonna pan around. Look, you see,
I'm gonna say 45 or 50,000.
We're in our living room right now, right?
Yeah.
Andre Ward could have sold this out.
Oh shoot!
He could have sold this out straight up. He could have. Herbine C says 10K.
I'm gonna say 40,000. That's giving him too much, probably.
40,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You think you sold 40,000? Where do you sell 40,000 at?
I'm just giving too much respect to Wood.
Remember,
okay.
this wasn't just so you know. It wasn't. I know you fought Carl Froch, but it wasn't in the UK. This was in America.
Okay.
So
in the UK, it would have been different.
In the UK, probably would have been different. But no, they fought in America. So in America, for a fight with Carl Froch in the Super 6 final, what is your final estimation of how much you think?
I would say 25,000.
Paid.
25,000.
Okay. So we've gotten a couple people. Shout out to my man Sebastian, the technician Santana. What's up, champ? How you living?
What's going on, man?
Hope you're doing okay over there at Flacco's boxing gym. I gotta get over there soon, actually. So hopefully I see you soon, Sebastian. Hope you're doing well. Hope your amateur career is going well. But Andre Ward. The paid attendance for Carl Froch versus Andre Ward in the Super 6 final was 5,626.
That was way off.
Okay, 5,626.
This is a decade.
And this is your fighter of the decade.
You crazy? Yeah.
This is your fighter of the decade. The guy didn't box for 60% of the decade, and he sold less than 6,000 tickets in a fight against Carl Froch. And this is your fighter of the decade. Are you taking the piss, Chris Mannix? Do I have stupid written on my forehead?
The businessman, the company man.
You company man. Come on now. Okay. Now listen to this. We'll ask the comments again, and I'll ask you. What do you guys think Andre Ward's paid attendance was in the Sergey Kovalev rematch?
I'm gonna say.
Just so you know, before I say the number, I was one of them. I actually paid money to see Andre Ward fight. So all you Andre Ward fans out there, if you come in here hating, I'm gonna say, listen, if you didn't pay money to see Andre Ward fight, you're not a bigger Andre Ward fan than I am.
I'm gonna say 30,000.
No, Kovalev. At the Mandalay Bay, just so you know, the capacity at Mandalay Bay is, I think it's just below 20,000.
Oh shoot!
The capacity
Sold out.
So you think it was sold out?
Yeah, at least sold out.
What? No,
I give him the benefit.
actually, no, it's not 20,000. It's got to be maybe somewhere around 14,000.
Okay.
It's a smaller venue. It's one of the smaller venues.
I'll give it sold out still.
So
you're
saying he sold out the whole venue?
He sold out the whole venue.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think? Do you
Kovalev
guys? What do you guys think the paid attendance was for the Kovalev Ward rematch? And just so you know, I was one of them. I actually paid money and flew to Vegas and I saw the fight.
SOG now, come on.
My man Log Dog is saying 8K.
Wow.
8K.
Damn.
That's a good guess. Herbie C is saying 10K again. So we got 8K, we got 10K. One more. Is there one more out there? Is there one more prediction?
Sold out.
So
15K? Yeah, 15K. So kind of some of the big names.
It's a big name.
Yeah.
One of the pound fighters against the light heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
Here we go. Rob87 says 2.5K.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Just so the final verdict is this: the paid attendance for Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev, it was, where is it? Let me find it.
Don't tell me that was it.
6,366. That's how much people paid for the Kovalev Ward rematch. Now, just so you know, there were more people than 6,000 people in the arena because they gave away a lot of free tickets.
Okay.
So there might have been 13 or 14,000 people there,
right.
But only 6,366 of them paid, and I was one of them. So so Rob87 he was the closest with his guess. He said 2,500. You know what? He wanted to be the closest.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you can't say
Shout out to him.
You can't say this guy. It was the fight of the decade when he spent 60% of the decade not fighting. He didn't sell any tickets. People just didn't care for his career for the most part, and the only time people cared for his career really was towards the end of it.
Well, if he probably, to be fair, if he would have fought in Oakland, that's where he was from, right?
He couldn't even sell out there.
In Oakland?
He had fights in Oakland that didn't sell out.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he had fights in Oakland.
Hometown?
In his hometown, they were giving away tickets. They were selling them on Groupon.
Come on, Brendan.
I'm not making this up. I'm not.
Wow.
Everything I'm saying can be researched.
He couldn't sell out in Oakland, his hometown?
He couldn't. He's fought at the Oak Arena and not sold out.
That's crazy.
So listen, I'm not hating here.
We're just talking.
Listen, I want to preface everything I'm saying as well by saying that I've never been a big Andre Ward fan. He's probably my least favorite.
But that's not, we're hating him.
But that's not, listen, these are just the facts.
These are
the facts.
Just this whole argument we talked about is the fight of the decade. Who should earn it?
Okay,
yeah,
now we look at his resume, right? Okay, let's pick it apart. Okay. He fights, Alan Green, good win. Solid win.
Okay.
Sakio Bika, solid win. You know, the whole Super 6 pretty much are solid wins, okay? That is the high point of his career. That is the high point of the decade, okay? Everything from there is downhill, okay? After he beats Carl Froch, he beats a weight-drained Chad Dawson, who came down from 168. But nobody ever wants to talk about that. They just want to say he beat Chad Dawson, and he made him quit. But he came down from 168. He came down from 175 to 168. He was weight-drained.
It says here he fought Sullivan Barrera at the Oracle Center. Yeah.
He did. We watched that fight.
Yeah, wow.
We watched that fight, Sullivan Barrera. Paul Smith. Paul Smith. He's one of the Canelo Smith brothers. He's the worst one of all of them.
Yeah.
He's worse than Caleb. He's worse than Liam. He's the worst one by a country mile. He's the worst one. That's who Andre Ward boxed when he came off of his whole promotional dispute with Dan Goosen. Okay. Alexander Brand. Don't even get me started. Alexander Brand, C-class fighter. Okay. For the first Kovalev fight. I mean, come on. I know we're not gonna sit here and act like he won that fight. Okay. He beat him the first time, like my man Rob87 said. It wasn't even close the first fight. 8-4, 9-3, no doubt about it. The second Kovalev fight, I mean, listen, he performed better. I'll give him that. I'll give him that much credit. He came in better shape. He performed better. He was quicker. He was sharper. But the conclusion of the fight was very controversial. So, yeah. And I'm gonna get to my fight of the decade, but I want to set the stage because I want to get through everybody that the media and people are saying is the fight of the decade. Okay, so. Andre Ward can't be fight of the decade because his best legitimate win is Carl Froch. Now, listen, Carl Froch is a great win. Carl Froch will go to the Hall of Fame one day, so I'm not
just taking
that from Andre Ward. Nobody can take that from Andre Ward.
Right.
Nobody can take it from him. It's a fantastic win. He won the Super 6 tournament.
Right.
But you have to have multiple fantastic wins in sensational fashion.
Be active.
And be active and be an asset to boxing, not a hindrance. And I believe, I believe in many ways that Andre Ward was a hindrance to boxing over the last decade. And like my man Ko Matsuda said, he left when the new Eastern European guys coming up. When Bivol And BWA, we're coming up. He
Time
didn't
to
want no
go.
smoke. He said it's time to go home.
Time to go.
It's time to go home. I think his wife might have saw the highlights on HBO. She said, "Oh, babe, time to retire. Time to come home, get a commentating job.
Time to make babies. Yeah.
It's time to get you a good, steady commentating job at
He's
HBO."
good at that, dog.
And no, he's great at
I
that.
love
He's fantastic
commentating.
at that.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. And yes, Mitch Gibson. No, I don't live in Hollywood no more. I moved to Miami about 3 or 4 months ago. And let's listen to this. My man Herbie C says, "What is funny is that I'm also from the same hometown as Ward, and I had no idea who he was until 2015."
Oh my God.
There you have it. There you have it.
The proof's in the pudding.
The proof is in the pudding. This man,
Thank you, man.
who we're talking to,
Shout out, man.
He's probably not even that far from Oracle Arena.
Oh
And
my
Andre Ward could have
God.
been fighting there, and he had no idea. He was just, he was there in Oakland. He was just chilling, just chilling.
I bet he knew Marshawn Lynch was before.
But he knew Marshawn Lynch was. He knew
Yeah,
Steph
yeah.
Curry was. So,
Yeah.
hey, shout out to Oakland, California. So, Andre Ward cannot be a fighter of the decade. You cannot be a fighter of the decade. It cannot be Floyd. It cannot be Andre Ward. Okay. So then they say. So I heard Floyd. I've heard Andre Ward. I've heard all these big names, all the media darlings. So then we go.
Oh, he was like 10 minutes away from the Oracle.
Yeah, he lives 10 minutes away from the Oracle, and he's never heard Andre Ward.
That's crazy.
And you know, Andre Ward said one time in an interview, he was like, because somebody asked him about why he doesn't sell tickets, and he's like, "I got a great fan base. I got an underrated fan base." I'm like, where? They ain't in the seats.
Yeah, yeah.
They in the seats.
Well, like that, underrated because they don't show up.
Underrated.
Yeah, he got it right when he
You
said
got it
that.
right, underrated,
Yeah.
underrated. So I kept hearing. So I heard Floyd, I heard Andre Ward. You know, they said, "Brandon, how could you hate Floyd? Floyd is undefeated. He did this. BT, how could you hate Andre Ward? He's undefeated. He did this." Okay.
Yeah.
So I laid my points out as to why they can't be fighter of the decade, right? So then once I refute those two, then they say, well, surely Canelo has to be fighter of the decade, right?
Yeah.
So we go to Canelo. I was born ready, Canelo. Canelo Clambutero Alvarez. Okay? We
Yeah.
go to Canelo. Okay? He beat, in the last second, he beat Lovemore Endu, Matthew Hatton, Ryan Rhodes, Alfonso Gomez. That was a bad cherry pick.
Yeah.
Alfonso Gomez was a horrible cherry pick. They got him from the contender. Kermit Cintron, Shane Mosley, Josecito Lopez, Austin Trout, Alfredo Angulo, Arizona Lara, which, was a controversial fight. James Kirkland, who really shouldn't have been boxing at all, because I don't know what the hell they found James Kirkland, but they brought him in for a Canelo fight. Canelo knocked him out, looked great.
Yeah.
Knocked him out at Minute Maid Park.
That's crazy.
What's funny is, Canelo fought at Minute Maid Park where the Astros play. He's a cheater, and the Astros are now cheaters too. So the cheater fights where the cheaters fight. When a baseball cheaters
Yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
Oh my God.
Okay. Then he fights Miguel Cotto. Good win, but come on, was he really Miguel Cotto?
Was it his past his prime?
Yeah. Amir Khan, who he fought at 155. I mean, come on now. Khan had a horrible chin at 135.
Yeah.
And you're drinking out to your 155?
Right.
Your new weight class that you created? That's another point right there. Liam Smith. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Triple G in a controversial fight.
Jacob.
Rocky Fielding. His best win of the decade, in my opinion. His best legitimate win of the decade, which I think is Daniel Jacobs. And then the fix of the decade.
Oh man.
Sergey Kovalev. So you can't say that Canelo's fighter of the decade because he created his own weight class. He created his own weight class. Good.
And also the clauses you gotta put.
And the rehydration clauses. Yes, the rehydration clauses. Creating your own weight class. Fighting. Listen, I don't like to call fighters bums, but there are a handful of fighters in boxing who are worthy of being called bums, and one of them is Chavez Jr. One of them is Chavez Jr. Chavez Jr. is a bum. Straight up, he's a bum.
Gigi too.
He fought Triple G twice, but he had avoided him. He avoided him for like 2 or 3 years and created his own weight class.
Yeah.
Who does that? Who creates their own weight class?
That's Canelo.
I'm gonna fight at
You
155.
gonna fight any of his weight class, or he just jumps around like a
When
frog?
he beat Triple G, when he beat him.
Yeah.
So there's that. I mean, Alfonso Gomez, that was an underrated cherry pick that nobody talks about anymore.
How about when he fought Moses?
Mosley?
Yeah, mostly.
I guess it was
Moses
good.
was in his prime at that time.
Oh, not really.
No,
No.
there were a bunch of bumps then, right?
Huh.
Wow.
So Rocky Fielding. I mean, come on. Rocky Fielding.
Look, he could have had. This is my argument with Canelo, and I'm not. I don't like his whatever clause that is.
Rehydration clause.
All the fighters, be a true fighter, and fight whoever you have. It's been years he hasn't fought Bubo Andre. Now I was just reading today that Billy's Golden Boy was saying that he might not fight. He's not going to fight Billy Sanders. He's going to fight who knows right now, according to De La Hoya. He hasn't fought the big names. He goes to 175. He supposedly beats or wins a Tony for acting, beating Kovalov, and wins that. As soon as he wins it, he runs away because he doesn't
Vacates the belt.
Vacates the belt because of whatever reason, but he doesn't want to fight the top dog.
Been ducking Boo Boo Andre for like the whole. He ducked Demetrius Andre the whole decade. The whole decade he spent ducking Demetrius Andre.
Yeah, so,
pretty much.
I mean, you can, and I will say it again. I will never compare him to the best Mexicans ever. I was just watching
Salvador Sanchez.
So I'll give him
Ozuma Nelson.
Yeah, I will give him a lot more respect, 110 times respect, because back in the day, you didn't have those bullshit that
Talk to him, Pops.
Canelo
Let him have it.
And I don't
Let him
like
have
that.
it, Pops.
I mean, if you're gonna be a true champion, I mean, after even he fought his last win, he went out and said, I would like to fight in Japan. I would like to fight here. Listen, motherfucker, stop worrying about where you're gonna fight and fight the fucking competition in 2020 and show your respect to the Mexican people and to yourself. I'm fucking tired of you, Canelo.
What's sick of you?
I hope somebody beat your ass. I'm whatever comments you made. I don't like the dehydration shit. I don't like none of that shit. Go ahead, grab your cojones, grab your bola.
Tell him in Spanish,
whatever,
too. Tell him in Spanish.
Whatever you call it. I don't disrespect to anything but in Spanish. Whatever you want to call it, belga, whatever you guys call it. Go ahead and fucking stand up and put respect. I respect Maurice more than I respect you, and he was American Mexican. You know why? Because he grabbed his balls and he fought some type of contender that you haven't done yet. So 2020, mother, from another brother, wherever you fucking from, you need to go fight the real people. I'm fucking tired of you. I'm tired of your excuses. I'm tired of everything. They gave you a franchise belt and you still use it to your advantage. Pull up your skirt, pull up whatever you got. Stop eating that Mexican food. Stop doing whatever you got to do and show up and give the respect to the boxing world, not just to the Mexican people because they're blinded by your bullshit.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Listen, I don't know if I can say any better than you just said it. I mean, I don't even know why I should be talking.
No, I'm just saying, like, I wanted to, I'm not saying he's not a warrior, but I just don't like him putting stipulations and not fighting the big dogs.
A man fought life deep one. He's speaking the truth, man. He said Canelo's ducking Boo Boo Andre. You damn right he is.
Boo Boo Andre
he don't want no smoke with him. He ducked him at 54. He's ducking him at 60.
Boo Boo said, I'm willing to go up to any weight class you want to go to. You got the franchise where I'll take you anywhere you want to go to. And now they just had a meeting today with De La Hoya on deciding who they're going to fight next. It might not even be Saunders. Who's going to be? Fucking Mickey Mouse from fucking Walt Disney in Fort Lauderdale?
Hey, man, you know, today me and my dad, we took a trip down to downtown Miami. And there's like a lot of homeless people in downtown Miami.
Yeah, we seen a lot of real stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo cherry picks one of the homeless people from downtown Miami.
No disrespect to them.
No disrespect to them. We pray for them. I'm just saying, man, it's getting so bad with him. Because if you're gonna fight Rocky Fielding, listen, anything goes. Anything goes. I mean, you're pretty close already. So,
I guarantee you why he left the 175, and it wasn't because he had to fight a mandatory in the other weight class where he goes to his belt. It was a fact that he didn't want to get his ass whooped by any Russian.
Facts. He didn't want no smoke beat.
He didn't want any of them. Straight up. He doesn't want none from Bibble, from Beatable. He doesn't want any from friggin' what's his name? Bubon that can come up there and whip his ass. What are you doing, Golden Boy? What are you doing, Canelo? Where's your legacy at? Don't tell me I'm tired of all these channels with his Top Rank, with his Golden Boy. Oh, he's the greatest one. He's good. Stop riding that man's dick and tell it like the way it is.
Facts.
So that's it. That's all I got to say about Canelo.
I wanted to go back to Andre Ward for a bit because there was one point that I missed on Andre Ward. So there's a video on YouTube, and listen, everything I'm saying, and that I've said so far in this video, you guys can go do your homework and research yourself. Man. Okay, I'm not going by feelings. I'm not going by opinions. I'm just going by facts. I'm going by things you can look up for yourselves. Okay, yeah. So don't come here and tell me, oh, and give me all this credit saying, yeah, BT, you're just making this up. Because people would think I'm so smart that I can just make these things up. Yeah. So listen, before Andre Ward fought in the Super 6 tournament, he said to a reporter, he said, if I win the tournament, I think the winner of the tournament, before he won it, he said, I think the winner of the Super 6 boxing tournament should fight Lucien Bute, who was champion at the time, and he would go on to lose the car fights later on. But when he won the tournament, do you know what his promoter said?
They put him on the spot.
No, you know what they said? Goosen said to the media, "Oh, we're gonna go after Stieglitz. We're not gonna go after Bute." I mean, now he didn't fight Stieglitz either, but he clearly. Well, do you think he would have beat Bute? Because I think he would beat Bute.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. You can still duck somebody, even if I think somebody could beat someone.
And still didn't
You can still duck him. Okay. He ducked Lucien Bute. Lucien Bute had made 8 title defenses.
Yeah.
He was a solid guy. He was at that time probably looked at by many before the Super 6 as the best super middleweight in the world. Yeah. And Ward didn't fight him, so yes, it was a clear duck. He didn't want no smoke with Lucien Bute, even though I thought he would beat Lucien Bute. Yeah. So, I just wanted to throw that out there. And if you think what I'm saying is I'm just making it up out of my ass, go Google it, YouTube it. It's on YouTube. You can find the video where he's talking about it. So that's that. So then people also want to say, well, BT, just get to the point already. We already know your fighter of the year is Manny Pacquiao, right? So let's go through Manny Pacquiao's decade as well. So we look at Manny Pacquiao. We look at what he did in the decade. And listen, Pacquiao has, in my opinion, he has somewhat of a legitimate claim to the fight of the decade. I mean, we look at the wins, right? He beats Joshua Clottey to open the decade up. He then goes on and schools Antonio Margarito. I mean, big-ass Antonio Margarito, one of the best performances you'll ever see. Yeah. He beats Shane Mosley. He beats Marquez again. He then goes on a 2-fight losing streak. Loses a controversial fight to Timothy Bradley. Yeah. Gets knocked out by Marquez in devastating fashion. Then goes on a 3-fight win streak, which consisted of Brandon Rios, Timothy Bradley in the again in the second fight, and then Chris Algieri. Right? Not bad. Then he fights Floyd Mayweather in a 36-minute tap dancing session, which really set boxing back and was a really horrible fight. I don't care if you're a boxing purist and you say, oh, well, BT, you're just not a fan of high-level boxing. Listen, when it comes to events like that and you're charging on people $100 for pay-per-view, you got to deliver. You got to give some entertainment. You got to give value for money. I understand you can't fight for the fans, but listen, Floyd Mayweather spent a whole career at welterweight outpointing people and doing all that stuff. He could have given the fans one great, toe-to-toe fight in a mega fight, or at least sit there and try to trade with Pacquiao here and there, but no, he didn't do that. So, and same thing with Pacquiao. Pacquiao, it's his fault too. So they both had a role in the fight not being good, and they made fans wait for so long and overcharged them. So it was a bad night for the sport. It set the sport back in the eyes of casual boxing fans, particularly here in America. So there's that. Then he beats Timothy Bradley in the most decisive fashion he ever did in any one of the 3 fights. Beats Jesse Vargas, who was coming off a really good win against Saddam Ali. Then he has the controversial fight with Jeff Horn, which I thought, he won, but it was still, there were still competitive rounds there, which I don't think Pacquiao, I think Pacquiao should be blowing a guy like that out. And then he fights Matisse in his comeback fight, destroys him, and then they say Matisse washed up, even though they were saying before that they were scared of Pacquiao. Right. But then they say he's washed up. Then he fights Broner, beats him pretty soundly, and Broner disputes that by saying, "I beat that boy," and then he told Jim Gray, "I'm 3-3-1 my last 7 fights. I'll be 7-0 against you."
That was funny when he told Jim Gray that.
Yeah, and then
Keith Thurman.
And then he fought Keith Thurman, which I thought was a great win. So listen, if you want to make an argument for Pacquiao being fighter of the decade, I think you can, but I can't. He's not my fighter of the decade because, listen, I just highlighted just now. You and Floyd Mayweather. I mean, I know Floyd played probably a bigger role in it, but I think both sides had a role to play.
Yeah.
Both of you guys delayed the fight till 2015. Then when it happened, it was you charged people $100, and then it was one of the worst. It was one of the worst undercards of all time, and then it was one of the worst main events for that price of all time.
We had a full house at the house. They left before.
Yeah, remember back when we were on 6th Street, we had like 19, 20 people at the house watching with us.
Full house.
It was bad. They
were happy eating popcorn, pizza, drinking, and everything else, than watching the fight. We were all pumped up for the hype for hours.
You were going crazy.
What?
You were going crazy, man. See, so, I wish we would have had a live fight reaction back then for that one. That would have been funny.
Yeah,
that would have been funny.
So I mean, I'm never ever going to disrespect any of these fighters. I just tell my feelings on how I feel about who I feel why they shouldn't be, and definitely not Pacquiao. Pacquiao to me, Pacquiao will always be on top of everybody because nobody will ever win again 8th divisional champion, and he's been active. But I think that I have to go with my son in this part with the Floyd Mayweather thing. That was really a bummer, and he could have definitely chosen better opponents.
And you gotta look at it too. Like, I love Pac, right? I love Pacquiao. Listen, anybody who's been watching here, you know I love Manny Pacquiao. But what was his best win in 20? I mean, his best win in 2010, I think, was, in my opinion, his best win was probably Antonio Margarito. I think that's his best performance of the decade. His best win was probably his last one, actually. I actually think Keith Thurman was his last.
That was Keith Thurman on a comeback too. Right?
But he was on a comeback too, so you gotta kind of take it with a grain of salt. But still, it's a great win being that he's 40 years old. So he did unprecedented things. He's got a good argument for it. But because him and Floyd set the sport back in America, like even more than it already was with the debacle of a tap dancing session, him and Floyd, just for that one night alone, are both disqualified for Fight of the Decade. Both of them are.
They made their money.
They made their money. Enjoy your money, but on True School Sports, you're not getting no credit and no praise from me. So that's what it is. Now, getting to some comments. 4 Live Deep says that he believes Ward would have beat Butte and he wished that fight was made. Yeah, I think he would have beat Butte too, but for whatever reason, he just didn't want no smoke with the Romanian. So I don't know.
Crazy.
Pac had 4 losses in the decade. No way is he the fighter of the decade, and that's coming from my main man, Lock Dog. Okay, so there's that. Now, look, those are the 3 or 4 guys that I keep seeing all the boxing writers say is the fighter of the decade. All 4 of them keep saying that. Floyd, Ward, Canelo, Pacquiao. Okay, and if you guys have anybody you think is fighter of the decade, let me know. If I miss anybody, and I'll tell you why. If it's not who I agree with, I'll tell you why I think you're wrong. But listen.
Did you finish Canelo? Did you finish Canelo already?
We finish
All of
Canelo.
it?
We finish Canelo.
Like,
we say he was a cheater, right? I mean,
yeah.
did I say he wasn't drug tested from April to late August before the second Golovkin fight? I didn't say that.
No, you didn't say that.
Yeah, he got suspended. So he gets suspended by the WBC for clenbuterol, right? This is why another reason why Canelo should be fighter of the decade, or even have consideration for it, because the dude gets suspended for clenbuterol, right? Gets suspended for clenbuterol.
Yep.
Okay, he's a cheater. That's established. Then he gets a slap on the wrist, gets suspended. Then from April to late August, before the second Golovkin fight, doesn't get bought a drug testing before the second Golovkin fight, and then within that same period of time, he gets awarded the biggest contract in the history of boxing.
The WBC comes up with the.
So that the president he set for the younger generation of fighters who like him and look up to him. No, he can't be the fighter of the decade, and he won't be the fighter of the decade on True School Sports. So a lot of you guys have been asking, well, BT, who is your fighter of the decade? If it's not Floyd, all right, if it's not Floyd, and if it's not Canelo, and if it's not Ward, and if it's not Mayweather, then just who could it be? Who could it be? Okay. Well, I mean, listen, I've been saying this for like 2 months now.
But the argument against it, he's not active there either, brother.
Who?
That he wasn't acting enough in the decade.
Hold on, I wanna address a comment because this guy used to comment on our channel all the time.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, him and his boyfriend on the LDBC.
Yeah.
He wants to side with his boyfriend on the LDBC. Now he doesn't like us.
Yeah,
so now we go here.
What is it?
Shout out to our man over there in Vermont. He said, "Here the hater go. You never lived up to debating, only trolling you ever lived up to." It is what it is, man. I got troll. He's talking about when I made that video about channel that will
listen. Let time heal things. Why don't you guys just grow up? And sometimes silence and by example says it all. So if you got nothing positive to say,
hold on. Ronald says, "Wow, you came on trolling, but now you clown me." Yeah, because I saw how two-faced you were acting. I went back about when I was in England and I had some downtime on my hands. I went and I watched one of his lives when he was clowning me, and I saw you there laughing and having a good time. So I've seen how you've come to my channel and you like you like my content and you're nice to me, but then when you're over there, you're another way. So I'm just calling it out. I'm calling a spade a spade. I'm not saying I like you, Ronald. You've been a supporter here and you come to the lives and you've supported and you've super chatted. So I don't forget those things and I'm very appreciative of it. But come on, man. Come on. I'm glad, but I'll give you this much. I'm glad you came here and you voiced your opinion at least, not like you were doing when all of that was going on. So it is what it is. I've said what I had to say. I'm not gonna give that channel any more clout than he's gotten because he's gotten enough clout from that video I made. Truthfully, if you want the truth, Ronald. The reason I made that video, honestly, I was just bored. Honestly, I was just in the UK and I was bored and I didn't have shit to do because I had nothing to do. So it's a boxing show for the fans. Don't come in the gradar if you don't want no action. Okay, well then you know what? I'm gonna let you think what you want to think. I won't go over there.
Hey, Ronald,
you enjoy the live.
Ronald, whether it's a great show, whatever we want to call it, and I'll tell you straight up, if it was directed to BT, it's fine. Okay. You want fire from BT? Then the great y'all should call it the way they should have called it and call him out. Okay? I'm on the back burner. I don't know jack about the LDBC and all this craziness, and then all of a sudden, the dude is making fun of me, and he's shorter than me.
Yo, he's pretty short. He's pretty short. Like I've only seen like 3 people my whole life.
You make sure you tell him that.
Shorter than my dad.
You make sure you tell him I'll take pictures of what you gotta do. He's shorter than me, but that was this. What we're talking about was back in 2019.
2019.
This is 2020. We're gonna go forward. So
we're gonna go forward
and let it go.
God bless him. God bless that guy on his channel. God bless you. I hope he has a great channel. I hope he gets 100,000 subscribers and people love his content. I'm gonna stick here and do what I do. Honestly, I was just bored.
And thank you for you coming here. And even if we agree with you what you're saying and what you're not saying, but don't come here with no negativity. That was 2020. You're gonna sit here bring up that craziness about last year, and then you're gonna sit here and get offended because you think now he's trolling you.
Yeah.
So let's get it right. You grab your hands between your legs and man up.
Straight up.
We here, we call it the way it is. We love you coming here. We love everybody that comes here. But don't come here with that BS. Take that back to the LDBC in your community if you want to stay over there.
Take that weak shit over there.
Lots of love for you. We bless you and everything for being here when you were here. But don't come here with negativity or spoil our life because you want to come with crap like that. Straight up.
Alright, with that being said, I'm not acknowledging no more comments about that anymore. Anyway, so a lot of you guys have been asking who's the fighter of the decade, okay? And I've been making my feelings very known on this because I feel like this fighter has done right by boxing, and I feel like he's done okay. I feel like he's represented boxing in a great way. And my fighter of the decade is very simple. It's Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, and I know people are gonna laugh about that because they're gonna think of him when he got knocked out by Rungvisai. And fair enough. If you don't know a lot about his career, and you heard this hype from HBO, and then that's what you saw, then you have every right to feel that way. But listen, I'm gonna give you guys the clear-cut facts of what happened in the decade with him, and I'm gonna give you my points as to why I think he's fighter of the decade. Okay, so listen, he had 26 fights in 2020. Roman Gonzalez, 26 fights. In 2020, he was 24-2 with 20 KOs. Right, that's a 76 knockout percentage for you don't know, and he fought some fantastic fighters in the decade. I mean, we talk about guys that he fought. There's guys that he fought in the last decade that are pound for pound fighters right now. I mean, we talk about Gallo Estrada. Roman Gonzalez fought Gallo Estrada, and I'll be honest, he fought Gallo Estrada when Gallo Estrada was a bit younger and wasn't as matured as a fighter. But he's fighting him again, and he fought him then and he beat him, and it was a really great fight. Gallo fought the prime Roman Gonzalez. Roman beat him, and we saw the fighter that got Juan Francisco Estrada will go on to become, beating Rungvisai, beating Quadras in more, in my opinion, more decisive fashion than Roman did.
Right.
So that to me was, a great win. I think Gallo Estrada will go on to become one of the best Mexican fighters of his generation when it's all said and done, and the history books are written. I think Gallo Estrada will go on history books, right?
Yeah.
We look at that. We look at like guys he beat like Valoria and Nick Williams Arroyo. These guys are top guys in the weight classes that he beat. And in the case of Valoria was a fantastic fighter. Valoria, I think to me is an underrated win because this guy, we look at his resume. He's beaten like the likes of Giovanni Segura, who's a great puncher at the weight class. He's been in there with some good fighters, Valoria. And Roman Gonzalez took him. He took Valoria and he reduced him to a nothing fighter. He just dominated him, stopped him, dominated him. It was one of the best fights and performances you will ever see. I mean, it was an exhibition in fighting in the pocket, throwing 8-punch combinations, making guys miss, doing all that good stuff. So, I thought that was a great performance. Edgar Sosa. People don't talk about Edgar Sosa enough. Now, I'll acknowledge that Roman Gonzalez fought Edgar Sosa when Edgar Sosa was a bit old, but he was still solid. But Edgar Sosa, he had defended the WBC, I think it was light flyweight title about 10 or 11 times. And he hadn't, when he lost, listen to this. So when Edgar Sosa lost the WBC light flyweight title, he lost to this guy from the Philippines named Pong Jack. I can't say his name, but this guy from the Philippines or Thailand, one of those long names. He lost to him, and that guy, by beating him, got on the pound for pound list. So at one point in time during the decade, he was the kind of fighter that if you beat him, you could be on the pound for pound list. And Roman Gonzalez took him, stopped him in a round. We look at, in my opinion, what I believe to be his best win, because of the context of it. Roman Gonzalez is not a big fighter. I mean, he's not. I'm not a big guy. Roman Gonzalez is smaller than me. And so is Cal Yafai. But I'm not a big guy. This guy turned pro as a minimum weight, as a 105-pound fighter. He won a world title at 105. Then he won a world title at 108. Then he won a world title at 112. So you would think for a guy who started his career off 105, making that jump to 115, fighting the best guys there with no tune-ups is freaking insanity. I mean, let's ask the comments. Let's ask the comments. If a fighter who turned pro at 105 moves up all the way to 115 and fights the best guy there with no tune-ups, isn't that like a big thing to ask?
Yeah.
That's a big thing to ask. So
it's like what Maurice did with Joshua.
yeah.
He moved up there and that was it. You know? So yeah.
Yeah, so it is what it is. I'm gonna get to the comments in a second, but I want to really make my point. I want to make my points. I'm gonna get to your guys' comments. I want to make all my points. He beat Carlos Cuadras, and Carlos Cuadras, I mean, now he's taking a couple losses, so people don't really look at Carlos Cuadras like they used to. But when he fought him, this was a Carlos Cuadras that was 35-0.
Yeah.
At the time, Inoue really hadn't done much in the weight class, so he was the number one guy. So Romo Gonzalez moved up to this weight class and fought the number one guy with no tune-ups, and he beat him to become the only Nicaraguan fighter in the history of his country. Not even the great Alexis Arguello did this to win a world title in 4 weight classes. So he cemented himself that night, and I was there. It was a great fight, as the best Nicaraguan fighter in the history of boxing. So living legend. He punched his ticket to the Hall of Fame. He will go to the Hall of Fame one day because of that. One day. During that decade, during the last decade, he defeated Chocolatito Gonzalez defeated 8 current or former world champions in the 2010s. What else did he do? I mean, Jesus, Floyd Mayweather himself in 2015 crowned Romo Gonzalez as the pound king of boxing. From the horse's mouth. And I saw the audio on my channel, so if you say he didn't, I still have the audio. He crowned, and he's the only fight I've ever heard him do that for. I've never heard him do that for Pacquiao or Canelo or Lomachenko. If he has, correct me. I'll say I'm wrong.
And kudos to Floyd, because not many people know too much about the lightweights, any of the lightweights division. So I gotta give credit to Floyd, because Floyd's actually hadn't been following the flyweights and other lightweights to know about Chocolatito.
I mean, he just saw him fight.
Respect to Floyd, Money Man Mayweather.
You know what? I just spent a bunch of time being negative about Floyd. So I'm gonna highlight one thing I love about Floyd.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say one thing I like about Floyd.
Negative. You just pointing out.
No, but I always been negative about him earlier. Listen, Floyd. One thing I like about Floyd is that
he says the way he sees it.
Not even just that. One thing I like about Floyd is that they ask him like, "Wait, are you an African American?" No, they ask no. They ask, "Are you an African American?" And I like how patriotic he is. I like how much he loves America. Because I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Ever since I came back from England, I think I'm more patriotic.
Yeah.
Listen, no disrespect to the UK. I got massive love for the UK.
Yeah.
Massive love for the UK. Massive love for all my UK subscribers.
Open up your eyes.
But it really opened up my eyes to how great this country is.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, this is the best country in the world. I feel like that's what I've been sounding like Don King, right? I've been sounding like Don King.
Don King with the flags. Wait America country. Yeah. Don King production promotion. Yeah.
That's how I've been since I got back.
The whole time. I've never seen, like, I was in the military and I went to different places and I seen crazy stuff. So when I ate a friggin' burger from here, a real friggin' burger, I was like, thank you, Jesus, I'm back home. You don't appreciate the small things we have in life here and the things we have here. He went only to one country and he learned more from that country than he ever did before to realize, you know what? I'm in the greatest country in the world. I know people, whatever the case may be.
So yeah, I like that about Floyd.
Back to Floyd,
Back to Floyd. So yeah, Floyd crowned Chocolatito Gonzalez the pound for pound king in 2015, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna highlight a fact that most people, and I've never heard anybody say this about Romo Gonzalez. I feel like I'm the only person who's highlighted this because I went into this research recently.
Right.
So. In 1993, the great Michael Carbajal, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame recently.
In Nevada.
In Nevada. Great fighter, fantastic fighter. I mean, Little Hand of Stone, one of the hardest punching little men of all time great. He made the most money any flyweight fighter or any fighter below 126 that ever made it in the history of boxing. When he made $1 million by fighting Chiquita Gonzalez, I think it was in the rematch. It was in the fight in 1993. So he became the first man to do that. Now, when Chocolatito Gonzalez fought Rungvisai in the rematch, he made $600,000. And that is the most money any fighter in the flyweight division has made since Michael Carbajal. So when we talk about Gonzalez, we're not talking about a guy who beat the best fighters, and we're not talking about a guy that just took on the best fighters and was exciting in the ring. No, we're talking about a guy that did unprecedented things in his weight class, in his country, in boxing history. No flyweight fighter has gotten that big of a payday since Michael Caldwell.
Yeah,
I know it's not a lot of money, but it is for the flyweights.
And not to disrespect anything about anybody, the fighting casuals or the fighting fan, boxing fan that think they know boxing, you never hear nothing really about the lightweights or even call out Chocolatito. When you hear people talk about Chocolatito and what he's done, besides not just us, other people when they comment in channels or whatever on YouTube, True School Sports, and they're really calling out that Chocolatito was one of the first, dead people know boxing. That's what I'm getting at. Those people gotta know. And I'll say it again. For Floyd Mayweather to call out Chocolatito, much respect to Floyd, much respect to Chocolatito. That tells you a lot about Floyd.
Yeah. Okay, so this thing I also want to highlight because everybody talks about how nobody. In fact, I don't think people talk about this enough. Roman Gonzalez was very influential for the flyweight division, and I would even go as far as to say that boxing fans wouldn't even care about Naoya the Monster Inoue as much if it wasn't for Roman Gonzalez opening the door for that weight class. So listen, here are just a couple of interesting tidbits about what Roman Gonzalez did at the box office for some of his big fights. Okay, so in 2016 when he fought Carlos Cuadras in LA at the Forum, he sold 6,714 tickets. Okay, he sold 6,714 tickets. Okay, I was there. 60% of that crowd in LA was for him.
Wow.
Now, I like at least 60% of that crowd was for him. The chant of Nicaragua were louder than the chant of Mexico.
Wow.
And I mean, when was the last time you saw any fighter in a big fight against Mexican fighter in California, in Los Angeles, get a bigger ovation
than a Mexican
fighter? It doesn't really happen. It doesn't really happen. So, you know, kudos to him. You know, that shows you the popularity of him, and just how big he is for the Nicaraguans. In the Wrong Versailles rematch, he sold 7,418 tickets as the headliner. So he actually improved his numbers as he continued fighting. And if we just go by those two fights right there, because those are like two of the biggest fights of his career, you know, where he headlined, because, you know, there's been big fights where he's been the co-main event, but I don't want to count those because I don't think it's fair to give him credit for the success of GGG or anybody else that was in the main event.
Right.
Those two fights right there, against Cuadras and against Wrong Versailles, he outsold Andre, both of Andre Ward's fights with Kovalev. Well, I don't know about the first one, but the second one he outsold him, and he outsold what's his name, the Froch fight. He sold more tickets than Andre Ward in America.
Yeah.
In the Froch and the Ward fight, and the Kovalev fights. So there's that. Then I'm gonna take it a step further. All right? And honestly, if any of you here like Deontay Wilder, and I still see Ronald in the chat, so shout out to Ronald for still sticking with us, even though I kind of tore into him earlier. Hold on, let me pull it up. I got it on my phone. Because believe it or not, you guys might not realize this, and I know the boxing media might not report on this, but this is the facts, and you can go look up what I'm saying. Roman Gonzalez has outsold Deontay Wilder at times. Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez has outsold Deontay Wilder.
A heavyweight. And he's actually
heavyweight.
He's fought in one of his venues.
So I'm pulling it right now. I got it on my phone.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I got it right on my phone.
Wow.
So when Wilder sold, Wilder sold 7,403 tickets against Luis Ortiz in the rematch.
And that's supposed to be a big fight.
That just happened. He sold 7,403 tickets, okay, against Luis Ortiz in the rematch. He sold 4,074 tickets against Stavern in the first fight. Okay, Roman Gonzalez sold, you just heard the numbers. He sold 7,418 tickets against Wrong Versailles, and he sold 6,000 against, or he sold, you heard the numbers.
Yeah, I got you.
He sold more tickets than them. So he's outsold Wilder. He's had the majority of the crowd there against a Mexican fighter in LA. He was so good that HBO had to start a whole card just to highlight fighters in his division.
And I'm going to say he's accomplished a lot more. I'm going to say he's accomplished a lot more than Wilder. Not to hate on Wilder as far as titles and divisions.
No, Wilder's great. He's knocking everybody out. He's looking impressive.
Yeah, but
he might knock out Fury. I mean, I don't know. He's got me questioning myself every freaking day. You know, so
I'm going with Fury.
I don't know. I might have switched my pick, but you know, we look at the guys he beat. We look at him fighting guys that were bigger than him constantly. We look at him, you know, stopping elite fighters to win weight classes. We look at him outselling Wilder. We look at him outselling Ward.
The most thing I respect about him is that he didn't take no tune-up fights to fight anybody. He just went and did it.
He just went and did it.
He just went and did
He
it.
didn't say, I need a tune-up fight, I need this, I need that.
And you gotta respect that from a fighter. I mean, how many fighters are actually gonna go ahead and go through with that? I mean,
He said, okay, you know what he said? He was at 112. He said, you know what? I'm moving up to 115. I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to do something that nobody from my country's ever done. Who's the number one guy?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Quadras? Give me him.
Yeah.
Oh, you want a tune-up, Roman? No tune-up. Give me him right now.
Yeah.
And what he do? He goes in there and beats him. So, Roman Gonzalez is my fight of the decade, no doubt about it. For the reasons I highlighted, the resume, the amount of.
Does anybody there have anybody different that they?
I mean, I haven't seen anybody different. I haven't seen anybody different. So.
In any weight class or
any weight class, but
like
that's my fight of the decade. It's not nobody. It's not no hate on no other fighters. It's not hate on Ward. It's not hate on Floyd.
Respect to all those names.
Respect to all of them.
If
you think
boxing,
they have their fan bases.
Everybody, Wilder, all the boxers we're talking about, give them kudos. We're not saying that. We're just trying to justify why we feel.
Chocolatito is number one.
We're not hating on your opinion if you feel that way, and we're trying to base it on facts and whatever. But this is what boxing is all about. Everybody's gonna have their own opinion.
And that's just my opinion. So, yeah, we're an hour into our live here on True School Sports. It's your boy BT with my guy Pops. We're here in Miami, Florida. Listen, I got these. You guys gonna be asking why are there no shirts on the wall? Because we're gonna use these shirts. We're gonna use these shirts. So listen, you guys are saying Floyd is the fighter of the decade. Shout out to Fighting Man. You guys are saying Floyd's the fighter of the decade. I say bullshit. He's not the fighter of the decade.
Crazy.
You guys are saying Manny Pacquiao is the fighter of the decade. I love Pacquiao. I loved him ever since I was a kid. Shout out to Pac. I wish him nothing but great things in 2020.
Yeah.
But he's not the fighter of the decade either. He needs to go somewhere else with that bullshit. The fighter of the decade is Roman Gonzalez, and anything else is just uncivilized. So
and he will always be.
And we're gonna leave it at that. Yeah. It's great to be here.
We talk about recent news now.
We're gonna talk about recent news. And listen, you guys have your topics down below. We'll talk about whatever. Now I was supposed to go live this morning, and I kind of feel like I owe you guys one.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like I owe you guys one because
whoop.
I was supposed to go live this morning and then our power went out.
Yeah.
So you know what? We're about 1 hour.
We have a good time.
We're 1 hour into our live. You know what? Let's push for 3.
Let's
push for 3 hours today. We got time. We got time.
We're gonna go through the card, the zone card. Quickly fighting on the 18th.
So I want to go back and just acknowledge some comments.
Do you think?
You search up whatever you want to search on the computer.
This one here.
All right, so let's see, because I know I missed some comments and I want to acknowledge them. I don't want anybody to feel like they're not included. So my main man, and yes, even though we have our disagreements, and I kind of went off on him earlier, my main man Ronald Finkley says, "Did you hear about Canelo running to fight a Murata instead of Demetrius Andrade or Charlo?" I did hear about that. I think it's two things, Ronald, with that fight. Okay, so Murata is like a huge star in Japan. So from a business standpoint, they're looking at it that way too. Look at a business standpoint, he's I'm talking like he's doing crazy ratings over there from what I hear. Like he's getting millions of people to watch his fights. He's a big deal. So if they take Canelo to Japan, I think business-wise it make a lot of sense. But from a boxing standpoint, who the hell wants to see that? Nobody's clamoring for Murata versus Canelo. Nobody's clamoring for that. I mean, and listen, believe it or not, Ronald, this is probably one of the only times I'll agree with the LDBC because I've heard a couple of videos on how you guys think about Canelo. This is one of the times I'll agree with you. This motherfucker needs to be fighting. He needs to fight one of the top American middleweights. Whether it be Andrade or Charlo, he needs to fight one of them. Personally, I think the best. What? Us tomorrow.
Is it? Yeah. I don't know who he is, but
we'll go live for that tomorrow then.
Yeah.
All right. So my dad just informed me on something. Apparently tomorrow, I didn't realize this, but tomorrow, on the Zone, there's a small card going on. It's Jason Quigley versus Fernando Marin. So I got to do some research on that, but I guess we're gonna go live for that.
Yeah.
So you guys are gonna get 2 lives. You guys are gonna get a live on tomorrow, and then live on Saturday.
Yeah. For
the Garcia fight. So be there for that. But going back to Bubu Andrade, Ronald, I really think Demetrius Andrade, would fold Canelo up. I think he'd beat him. He don't want no smoke with Canelo. Every time he's mentioned, Canelo just doesn't know how to act. So, that's actually one of the few times I will agree with the LDBC. He needs to stop ducking Bubu Andrade and even like a Charlo. Not that I think Charlo would beat him, but I think Charlo has got a belt. He's got a belt, so why not fight him? Too bad Chocolatito got knocked out cold. SSB, what's up, champ? Rob87 says, I remember that Fat Slob 78 Sports made a video immediately after Chocolatito got knocked out. I mean, I didn't watch it, but I'm sure he did, you know? And what's funny is no hate on 78 Sports, you know? I mean, before I had a YouTube channel, that was like one of the YouTube channels I used to watch. So I don't really watch it as much now because I barely watch anybody's videos now because I'm so busy making my own videos and running the fights and getting interviews and going to gyms. But yeah, there's been many videos of his in the past that I really enjoyed. So shout out to 78. Did you hear about your boy Adrian Broner, aka AB, about to go broke? He was asking for people for money on Instagram.
Man, that guy got some issues.
If he listen, I pray for Adrian Broner. That boy needs some help. That man needs some help because he was flushing money down toilets and throwing it in strip clubs. So it's hard for me to really feel any sympathy for him, especially like coming from my background where like, you know, like I've had times I've had times in my life where I was poor and I lived in poverty. So I can't really feel bad for Adrian Broner as much as sad as it is to say I can't feel bad for him. So if that's what is happening, then
you know, he needs to go to his buddies that he hangs out with and give him some money.
Ronald Finkley says AJ has been sold out by Clarissa Shields versus Hannah Gabriel. Are you talking about in terms of
the fight?
No, I think he's talking about in terms of TV ratings. Because Anthony Joshua has had low TV ratings for a couple of his fights here in America. Because he's not known in America. And I think a lot of times when they would do the replays, they wouldn't have it in prime time. Like they would do like I remember when he fought Klitschko.
Yeah.
The initial like airing of his fight
Yeah.
was like in the afternoon. It wasn't at night. But just saying.
I don't think Leslie Shield wants any of our elite, that's for sure. She better stay away from her.
Agreed, yeah, on the same platform. Demetrius Andre can't ever get Canelo in the zone. It's strange. Yeah, I don't understand. And you know, Ronald, and you know, this isn't just directed to Ronald. This is directed to everybody that's watching right now. And thank you everybody who's here right now. Like, so Saturday, I'm gonna give you guys some inside info. Saturday, I'm supposed to go to the 5th Street Gym here in Miami, which is on South Beach. It's a great gym. It's where Muhammad Ali used to train. It's a very historic site. It's hallowed grounds for boxing here in Miami. A lot of fighters come there to train. I was just there the other day, and I interviewed Jason Rosario as trainer, so that'll be out soon on True School Sports. But I heard recently that Demetrius Andre might be sparring on Saturday when I'm supposed to go there again. So we might. I'm not making any promises, but we might see Demetrius on Saturday. Hopefully we do, because that would be great to talk to him and hear from the horse's mouth. And I want to tell him some of the things that I say consistently on this channel. That look, this guy don't want no smoke. I think he's the most. Listen, I really think he's the most talented American fighter, and I know people are gonna say it's Crawford, and they're gonna say it's Spence, and they're gonna say it's these guys, and they have every right to say that because those guys have been getting big fights, they've been looking good in these fights. But I really think if you look at his skill set, what he did in the amateurs, and if he's one of them fighters that I think if they put the big fights in front of him, he would really perform. I mean, he performs good already, but he perform even better in the bigger fights. So, you know, hopefully we get a chance to get up with Boo Boo and talk to Boo Boo, and yeah. SSB28 says, do you think the boxing industry might go through a recession soon with the way the networks are overpaying fighters? That's a great question. Recession. A recession in boxing. I don't know, man, because I feel like in boxing, where there's a will, there's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. So like I feel like there's always a way to get money in boxing. Like example, you can start a PBC up if you get money from a hedge fund. But boxing is different now than it was 5 years ago, so it's not far-fetched. I think there could be a recession. There might be a 1 or 2 year period where we don't see a lot of big fights happen because look, you got overpaid at the zone because the zone is overpaying a lot of fighters. Let's have it right. I like the zone, but I'm not like the zone's not sending me no check. So like, I mean, listen, the zone is overpaying the hell out of fighters, and so is PBC has done in the past as well, and they still do to some extent. So yeah. Why not? Why can't there be a recession? Hopefully, if there is a recession, hopefully there's no federal bailouts like there was in America in 2008. Fighters' salaries are inflated. We are being lied to. Yeah, a lot of times now when you factor in what's going on with the back end, like on the back end of a lot of contracts, there's more back end money, there's more TV money, there's more sponsorship money. So fighters are getting money. Like you'd be surprised because I have a lot of friends in the fight game. I have a lot of friends in the fight game, guys who are fighters, guys who are fighting at a decent level. So sometimes they give me some inside info on like how they get extra money. And a lot of times, what I come to find is like a lot of times even these fighters who are inactive, they're gonna get sponsorship dollars. They're gonna get money fronted to them by their managers, extra money fronted to them by their managers. So listen, if you're someone who is a top 10 caliber fighter and you have a decent team with decent resources around you, then like you're more than likely not going to struggle. You won't. So. And I agree. My man Eric Brandon Gomez says Terrence Bud Crawford and Booba are getting tired of duck hunting. I agree. And listen, people want to slag off and criticize Demetrius Andrade for his most recent fight. He's supposed to fight Luke Keeler in his next fight, and people are like, "Who the hell is Luke Keeler?" And truthfully, like, look, I've only seen Luke Keeler fight one time. It's a showcase fight, and this is one of those fights for Demetrius where he's gonna get a chance to build his name because he's fighting during Super Bowl weekend, which is a huge event, and it's here in Miami. I mean, me and my dad were in downtown Miami today. Dad, wasn't it crazy there today? How like we saw all the Super Bowl decorations, they're setting up stages and stuff.
Yep, everything's getting ready to go.
It was insane.
If you have a girlfriend, take it to the Avon show in March.
You mean Ultra?
It's a joke.
Well, I don't know if you want to take it to the Ultra show.
But it's an inside joke as my son and I have. And then my family was here, and I was taking them to Miami to visit from up north, and I didn't know what Ultra was.
Ultra.
Whatever it was. So
and for those of you who don't know what Ultra is, it's like a big dubstep house music festival, and they have it for 3 days every year in downtown Miami. And when it happens, it's like drugs everywhere.
Teenagers,
basically girls from the age bracket of like 18 to 25, just basically naked, just dressed all kinds of ways, and it's just utterly insane. So
I take my family down there. I'm telling them.
So he thought it was a makeup convention.
Like an Avon.
He thought it was a makeup convention.
And every time we go down, we just seen the signs for the advertisers coming back. So my son said, I come to find the whole just the story was, I thought it was an Avon. It actually was a old musical whatever
convention. Yeah. Festival. So yeah. Carlos Espinal, or actually, let me go to Ronald's comment. He says at least PBC has great American promotion. Fox Sports TV. I agree. You know, Ronald, that's the one thing I'll say PBC is doing a good job of. For certain fighters, because I've noticed with certain American fighters, like one example I'll give you is Julian Williams. I think Al Heyman and PBC are actually doing a good job promoting Julian Williams because all his last 2 fights have been on a local American television. And for my viewers here who are not like from America, you don't understand how big that is to have your fights on local TV, because here in America we have so many sports. We have baseball, football, basketball, hockey, college sports, UFC. The entertainment options just within sports alone are endless. So it's really hard to get people's attention. And Julian Williams, if you can get a slot to fight on Fox, on a prime time slot to fight on Fox, that's a big deal. And Al Heyman's been doing that consistently, for Julian Williams' last couple of fights. So I think they're actually doing right by Julian Williams, Ronald.
I mean,
Rob87 says that we should go to Ultra. We should stream live for the Ultra Festival.
Shit, when we see people get thrown up from one place to another.
I mean, I had a friend who went one year, and I'm not trying to get too explicit or graphic, but I had a friend who went there one year, and he was telling me he was there and girls were just sucking dudes off in the middle of the dance floor.
It was crazy.
Right in the middle of the dance floor. There's ecstasy and weed smoke everywhere. There's all like this house music playing and girls are just
all in the same bathroom. I'm like, what's going on here?
Insanity.
It's chaotic.
Insanity.
I mean,
I'm sure
kudos to whoever likes it, but
I'm sure the AIDS is like crazy.
This thing, Aaron Flows, Crawford, McGregor, 2 fights. That's crazy.
We'll get into that in a second. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Somebody actually mentioned it. So I guess we'll talk about it. Yeah. So SSB, I did hear about that just now from my dad. Apparently, Bob Arum has floated the idea of Terrence Crawford fighting Conor McGregor.
2 fights.
In MMA as well.
It's crazy.
I think it was you. I was just telling you, if Terrence Crawford ever went to MMA, he would be a beast.
Yeah, we're talking about that.
He would be a beast because for many of you who don't know, Terrence Crawford has a wrestling background. He was a state champion wrestler in high school. That's why, like, when he fought Jeff Horn, Jeff Horn being the bigger guy, Jeff Horn wasn't bullying him because Terrence Crawford's a wrestler. He knows how to, get you in there, and he's a strong guy, which is why I think he'd do good against Errol Spence on the inside.
Yeah, fighting Conor McGregor, fucking joke.
Conor can't fight. Conor's a stand-up fighter.
I'm just saying. And you really want to see that?
Hell yeah! I want to see that.
He proposed 2
No. Listen, if you're gonna do a crossover fight, that's the kind of crossover fight I want to see. I want to see Terrence Crawford, because I think Terrence Crawford would actually whoop him in both of them. I think Terrence Crawford might, honestly, I'm not even playing with you. Like, you might think I'm crazy. I think Terrence Crawford might literally kill Conor McGregor.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, I'm serious. I think he might kill him because
of his wrestling ability.
not even just that, not even just wrestling ability, but like when you put you've seen the UFC gloves.
Yeah.
You put that on Terrence Crawford, he's knocking these dudes out with that on his hands.
Yeah.
You put the little 4-ounce UFC gloves on his hand, he's gonna turn into Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And UFC fighters have no chin. They have no chin. I had a friend this week who's not like, he's not a fan of boxing or UFC. He just watches like big fights and stuff like that. And he was telling me how he was asking me how come Conor McGregor and these UFC fighters, they train for so long and they have no stamina. I said, well, because UFC fighters are just boxing rejects.
Yeah. It's crazy.
No, I'm not hating on UFC fighters. I'm just saying, like,
I don't even want to see it. I mean, it happens fine. He's doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, transcending the sport.
No, I haven't read that
Sure.
Thomas Hauser article on DAZN yet. Apparently, Thomas Hauser wrote an article. Every time he writes an article, it's groundbreaking.
Is it?
Yeah, he's like the best writer of all time.
On the zone.
No, period. Boxing history.
Wow.
What was it about? But yeah, I'm telling you right now, if Terrence Crawford fought Conor McGregor in both UFC and boxing, I think he would literally destroy. I think Conor McGregor might be dead. I'm not even saying that to be funny or joke around. I think he would literally beat the life out of him. Literally beat the life out of him. That's what I'm saying, man. It would boost his. That's the ultimate win with Terrence Crawford. He'd whoop Conor McGregor twice. He would boost his profile up. He might become the biggest star in boxing off that. What do you think?
Anything that get him exposed.
Because he might as well fight Conor McGregor because we know that the PBC guys ain't gonna fight him.
Yeah.
So why not?
What's his name, Brennan? Tom Hauser? I don't find it here in his own. His name is Tom Hauser?
Yeah, I'll type it in. No, I feel like Crawford is one of those guys, like with Terrence, if the right personality in front of him, like if you were to get, like we saw when he was around Spence, like we saw like a different side of Terrence Crawford, like he was a more funny guy around Terrence. He was more entertaining than usual. I feel like with Conor, it would be the same thing. It'd be the same exact thing if he fought Terrence Crawford. Or Conor McGregor, I should say. Yeah. Eric Brandon Gomez says, Conor is trash in boxing. Floyd Sr. could whoop him right now.
Knock him out, probably put his lights out.
Yeah, he got that crazy right hand. But yeah, that Ultra Festival is in Biscayne Bay. And it's an international thing, like everybody wants to come and
yeah.
You know, it's okay, so really it's a music festival, but really people buy tickets not for the music festival. They go there to do drugs and
everything else.
And
I thought it was a drug show, to be honest.
Kiss 15 girls in the mouth and all kinds of craziness. Yeah, great point, LA12. Like when Terrence Crawford fought Jose Benavidez Jr., that was exciting.
Yeah.
That was the beef they had. I mean, whether it was manufactured or not, it was exciting. So I think they should fight. I think they should fight each other. I would love to see it. I would definitely go live for it. I would definitely cover it. Here on True School Sports. That's worth covering. Not like this BS that I'm gonna have to make videos about and do interviews about. What's Jake Paul? Jake Paul versus that British guy on the Demetrius Andrade card. I was talking to one of my friends recently, and he was telling me about, are you going to that Jake Paul fight? And I'm like, did you really just call that?
Yeah.
Did you really just call out that? Jake Paul. Philip Hergovic versus Dominic Brazil. Are you guys just trying to get Brazil killed? Like, are you guys trying to hurt him? Well, what did he ever do for you guys that wish such bad upon him? He just fought Wilder and got decapitated, and then a couple of years before that, he fought Ugano and won, but he was about to get decapitated. He had to go to hell to win that fight. And then before that, he fought Joshua and got battered. And you want him to fight Hergovic, who's stopping everything left and right. The guy is punching holes through walls. You want him to fight that guy? Nah. That'd be a good fight. It'd be a good step-up fight for him. But nah, I don't want to see it. Jake Paul versus Gibb. Yeah, I don't even know who the hell this Gibb guy is.
Is he
So
popular too?
yeah, I mean, I'm sure if Eddie Hearn has him on the card, he's popular. But SSB 28 could probably educate this guy. I don't. It's funny. I'm on YouTube all the time. I never watch those guys. I don't watch Jake Paul or.
See, Quigley was Cortez.
So apparently Thomas Hauser wrote an article about he was questioning whether if the zone would be able to last because of its subscription-based platform.
I don't know.
Like he doesn't. Basically, what he's saying, he's questioning it because he doesn't think it's sustainable for the long haul,
Right.
which is fair because nobody in boxing has ever went this route. You know, this is uncharted territory for a boxing promotional company to go. You know, so yeah, I don't blame him. I don't know what the DAZN numbers are as far as the subscriber count they are, but I remember last year, about I'm gonna say a year and a half ago, when I asked somebody I know who was a reliable source, they said the last time about 18 months ago it was about at 70,000. About 18 months ago, so 18 months is a long time. Maybe they got to 500,000, but I don't know. And they've had a lot. They've had a lot of complaints with customer service and things like you know, just with customer service and the fight not working and people were really pissed with how it was ran for the Golovkin Jacobs, or no, not Golovkin Jacobs, Canelo Jacobs and Canelo
Yeah.
what's like, who you fight last?
Who's that?
Kovalev fights. There you go.
Is this Canelo? I was serious.
Canelo has no personality either, but somehow he sells. People want to see him lose.
Mexican people.
Well, it's the Mexican fans, man. Like, personally, like, look, he has. Listen, you see this cup right now? Yeah, you see this cup? This cup of orange juice?
Yeah.
He has the same personality as a cup of orange juice. Straight up.
Canelo serious talks to fight.
They get something. Ronald Figley just mentioned that.
Did he? Oh yeah.
What do you think about that? Ryota Murata versus Canelo Alvarez. Ryota Murata, the guy that got stopped by Rob Brandt.
Listen.
Got stopped by Rob Brandt.
Supposedly De La Hoya said that he gave him an option to fight any fighters he wants to fight in whatever the weight class he wants to fight. And you mean to tell me he's gonna fight this guy when, I'll be honest with you, a better fight because people want to see. I think it's a Bubu Andre and Canelo. What do you think?
The argument from a promoter standpoint is going to be, especially if they take the fight to Japan, their argument is going to be, well, this guy Ryota Murata, he's a big star in Japan,
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
telling you.
he does millions of views in Japan. But listen, fuck that shit. We want to see the big fights. We want to see the important fights. We want to see the fights that are gonna be good for the sport of boxing. And the reality is, Ryota Murata, he's not even. He's not even
Serious.
that far removed from losing to Rob Brandt.
Jesus, man.
We don't want to see that.
Fucking Canelo's a joke. I'm serious.
If he fights Ryota Murata, he'll never hit
And for
anything.
De La Hoya saying that he has an option, you're the promoter. You know what people want to see. Even Bubu Andre were calling him out.
You know what? That would be a good, if I run into Eddie Hearn, that'd be a good question to ask him. What
the
are
deal?
the DAZN? No. What are the DAZN subscriber numbers? What do you think the DAZN subscriber numbers are at? Because apparently, I mean, there's been fabricated numbers. Nobody really knows what the numbers are. Like, some say it's 8 million worldwide. Some say it's 800,000. Listen, I like DAZN, but there's no way in hell that DAZN has 800,000 subscribers in America. Because I think if they did, their impact, their fights, their big fights especially, would have more of a cultural impact in America if they had those kind of numbers. They don't have those kind of numbers. I don't think they have those kind of numbers. If they can show those numbers and they can verify them, then great. I will shut the hell up. But until then, it's all just hearsay.
Yeah, I think they're losing more money than anything else.
Yeah, so
You know, he's hoping now to save money. Eddie Hearn's been saying that he's going to save a lot of money to get what's his name, Pacquiao signed.
that's what he said?
He's been saying that's what he's saving some money for, hoping they can get Pacquiao signed after his 2 fights with PBC.
Facts. Okay. So yeah, you guys have your questions down below. It's currently what? It's 10:55 a.m. here in America. We got roughly an hour and a half left to go here on True School Sports. We don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. So you drop your questions.
Who do you guys think that he got such a legitimately fight? I mean, he say he's a legend killer. And who would you guys like to see him fight? I would love to see him fight Crawford, just for Spence, to see before he even gets the bigger fights. To be honest with you, I want to see him like this guy right here. He's gonna be a walk in the park.
So we had a chance to watch that fight when Ivan Redkach and Devin Alexander. What did you make of Ivan Redkach versus Devin Alexander?
He actually he's not a bad fighter, but I don't think he's gonna be.
Do you think from based on what you saw, do you think he has the punching power to hurt Danny Garcia at all?
No.
Absolutely not.
Cherry pick for the greatest. So I just want to see what you guys' opinion is on that. If Canelo picks this Japanese guy, no disrespect to him, he's an idiot. He's just jumping back and forth from all kinds of freaking weight classes.
Carlos Espinal says he also said they overestimated the American market when it came to boxing, and I agree. Almost nobody watches the sport like we do here. I agree. You know, being an American and being here, like, you know, it's not like, and I've always said this too. Like, boxing is not a mainstream sport in America. It doesn't get covered every day like it does in the UK or like maybe other countries. It's very low on the totem pole for sports here in America. Believe it or not, it's funny I'm talking about that because that's actually part of the reason why I got into covering boxing. I wanted to kind of make my channel one of the good ambassadors for sport for boxing because everybody's talking about UFC and all these other sports, but I wanted to kind of cover boxing the way I believe it was meant to be covered, especially in my area. Cover it from the South Florida perspective. So that's what I'm doing. I've got tons of content coming out real soon. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying some of the stuff we got from local fights. If you haven't checked it out, it's on the channel. We got actual fights up on there. We got interviews there. We got stuff there with Xander Zayas and prospects and just all kinds of great stuff. And yeah, what else? What else we got? But yeah, tomorrow apparently there's a fight, so we're gonna go live for it.
Quigley thing? Jason
Quigley fight. Have you seen Jason Quigley fight before? He fought a friend of mine actually. Jason Quigley fought a friend of mine, and I don't know. I mean, listen, I haven't seen him come at my channel in a while. But if he happens to be here, pop in. Shout out to my main man, Mark Christopher Atkins, who fought Jason Quigley on 3 weeks' notice.
Oh yeah.
In a four rounder, and he gave him a really good fight.
Said Noyo is gonna fight.
Casemiro.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that a good fight?
In Vegas. Oh snap! That's a fight we need to go to.
That one?
That's a fight we need to go to.
That's a war there?
No way in America? That's enough for me.
Yeah.
I don't care. We can fight Josh Greer for all I care. I want to.
Okay, what's the one I was quickly? This guy.
Is that Miami card you're going to next week sold out? You know what? I haven't heard any news about it, but it should be a sellout because number one, it's Super Bowl week, so there's gonna be plenty of people there, and the venue they're fighting at, from my understanding, from what I've read and researched and gathered, it's not very big. It's only a couple thousand seats, 2,000-3,000 seats, but we'll see. Hopefully it is because I want Eddie Hearn to bring bigger shows back to South Florida. My only criticism of him, in particular, is that he doesn't have any and I want your opinion on this because I haven't answered this. On the whole Matchroom show that I'm going to, the Boo Boo Andre card, there's no South Florida fighters anywhere on the card, not one.
It's crazy.
What do you make of that? Being that you're adopted South Floridian.
I mean, I think Eddie Hearn should explore that option because if you put some some good fighters from Florida that are here, I think it would actually attract more.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not gonna sit here. Act like we have the greatest fighters in the world, but we have. So listen, I can name you. I can put you guys on a 2 fighters who I'm telling you right now. You give it 2-3 years time, these guys will be in the world title picture in their respective weight classes.
Yeah.
Those 2 fighters from South Florida are Antonio Bang Williams, who I just had a chance to interview recently at Fifth Street Gym the other day, and that'll be out soon. So he looks just like Gervonta Davis.
Yeah.
So you'll know the interview when it comes out. He can fight his ass off.
I think
a beast. Not the same. No, he's a better outside boxer.
You think so?
Much better outside boxer than Tank. Really good talent, and Lawrence Newton. I mean, Lawrence Newton. I've been bigging him up. I think Lawrence Newton's a hell of a fighter.
Right.
I think he'll definitely be in world title contention at 122 or wherever he decides to campaign at within the next 2 to 3 years. So these guys are still prospects. You guys probably haven't heard of these guys, but just keep your ears listening for those names.
There's a bunch of people.
I like Tiafimo because he's from New York. See, Mitch Gibson's always here, and he's always trolling. He's always on Patriots. Now I talking about Tiafimo being from New York.
Yeah.
Listen, He was not from New York. He's born in New York, but he's not from New York. He's from South Florida.
Hey, you think this guy Ubali's gonna give a good fight to Donaire?
That's a good fight right there. Donaire versus Ubali.
Yeah. Donaire fought.
If the Donaire that fought Inoue shows up, I got Donaire. For we saw Ubali fight. We saw Takuma Inoue.
How about this guy Golovkin fighting? Who the fuck this guy is?
Did somebody really write this? Right now we're looking at articles on Boxing News 24. Article says, Gennady Golovkin to face Kamil Shmerta in risky fight in March. Listen, Kamil Shmerta, if that's a risky fight for him, Golovkin needs to retire. Kamil Shmerta has no punching power. He's got a very amateur style. If he don't stop him under 5 rounds, he needs to hang him up. Hang him up. Tailor-made style for him.
Keith Thurman wants a Manny Pacquiao. He's gonna have to wait though. Keith Thurman. Would you want to see a rematch of that?
Huh?
Keith Thurman wants a rematch.
I want to hate it.
Yeah. Demetrius Johnson says Canelo needs to fight young champions.
That's right. I agree.
What's this? Manny Pacquiao sends fight message to Conor McGregor.
Tyson Fury said that Lomachenko can't beat Teofimo Lopez. I mean, that's probably him. Well, that's probably him being a company man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, they're both top ranked.
Yeah, he's not scared to say what his mind though. I'll be honest with you.
But his mind changes like every 2 seconds.
Look at this. See, Billy Joe's not fighting him next. He gave him a choice, and he's fucking gonna pick that Japanese guy.
Lewis Netty versus Inoue at 122. He can't even make 122. He's
having a problem. I mean, the WBC suspended him in the first place because it's twice that they've had fights for him, and he hasn't made weight on the first try or something. So
he needs to move his ass up.
Yeah, the issue is he needs to move up. That. So when the WBC did that to him and suspended him or canceled his fights because he's not making weight, that's not good.
So they need to stop with the BS. Move his ass up and go fight the guys at 126. Stop trying to be a weight bully.
Terrence Crawford needs to build his star power before Errol Spence fight can happen. Well, if he does that MMA, UFC, his name's going to get out there a lot more, that's for sure. Have a contract in the ring for Danny to sign next Saturday. He's such an idiot.
Well, Angel Garcia?
No,
so apparently Angel Garcia says that that they have a contract in the ring for Danny to sign next Saturday. Hopefully. No, Netty's too big to be fighting them weights. He's shown clearly that he can't make the weight.
Yeah.
No, it's not going down like that. It's not.
Virgil Ortiz to fight in March 28th.
At the Forum, yeah, he's fighting at the Forum.
Who's he fighting?
I don't know. I'll tell you who he's not beating though. Jerron Ennis.
Shit, make that fight happen.
I can't wait till he fights. I can't wait till Virgil Ortiz fights Jerron Ennis so Jerron Ennis can school this dude. School this fool.
In March, man. We should go to that fight. No, you want to go to Barclays. You want to do some rematch with
I want to go to LA. You already know I want to go to LA. I want to go to LA. You already know why I want to go to LA.
Well, who's he going to fight with you?
Dillian White versus Andy Ruiz. That's the fight we need to see. You know, apparently, you never know because sometimes these promoters negotiate with the media, but apparently Eddie Hearn sent an offer to Andy Ruiz on behalf of Dillian White for them to fight. Well, let's see what happens.
Do you agree with this, man?
These guys would give DAZN more for their money in a fight against Triple G for instead of Camille Schmetta. Charlo, Andrade Smith. Yeah. Why does freaking DAZN, and I want you guys' opinion on this.
I haven't seen Chris Eubank fight that much. I'm gonna have to watch his fights to study him more. Is he a legit opponent for his weight class? Is Chris Eubank like a?
No, he's not that good.
He's not as good as
he's like really. Listen, his problem. So like a lot of fighters' problem is that they don't work hard in the gym. He's the opposite. He works too hard in the gym. He don't listen to nobody.
So all these challenge, who you want? I would allow Gigi to get caught and break his bone.
Yo, that'd be a fight.
Huh?
GGG versus Canelo Smith.
Yeah, I mean
that's another one. I'm not gonna lie to you. Let me ask you a question. Is Canelo Smith like the most disliked fighter in boxing for you right now?
After they showing that shit against
John Ryder,
and he came out talking all that bullshit and saying he did a great job. Yeah, I want Gigi to wake up, do something, and knock the shit out of him, break him down. He's gotta show me his work.
I'm sick of honestly like Canelo Smith.
I'm a big fan of Canelo the Plan. I would like to see Canelo. I think I think
What do you think about his next fight, Caleb Plant? Vincent,
I don't care about the fight.
the German guy.
The fight that I want to see Kellerman fight is David Benavidez, the big one, Junior. He's a beast. That'll be a great fight, and I don't know who to take there because I like the aggressive David Benavidez got, and I do like Caleb Plant, but I want that fight this year. I want that fight to happen. What do you guys think? So who would you pick out of all these fight opponents for Gigi? Any of them?
Demetrius Andrade. If you listen, anything where Demetrius Andrade is included, I'm getting a big fight, I'm picking him because I'm sick of these guys ducking him and putting their skirts on the minute his name is mentioned. Every time I'm sick of hearing it. And you know what? I want to call out GGG because ever since he signed with the Zone, excluding the Derevchenko fight, he's fought bums.
Look at go up and take an easy fight, waiting for it. You believe that?
Yeah, he's taking easy fights. Schmeta, Steve Rolls, who was the other one?
Yeah.
Now,
Fucking Wicked
Vanis.
Yeah.
You know, it's getting ridiculous.
Listen, I don't want to hear that shit.
LA12 says, watching back Plant versus Jose Uzcategui, I'm not that impressed with him. I think Benavidez stops him late. It's not far-fetched.
I mean, Benavidez is a beast, man. He's a warrior. Who's David?
Avanesian?
Yeah, it was Josh Kelly done deal for late March.
Well, that's not bad. It's a decent little step-up fight for Josh Kelly. He's another one. He's another one. Like, listen, when people listen, and this goes to the LDBC people. If there's anybody from the LDBC here, when you guys talk about some of these guys in the UK being hype jobs, listen, we talk about Canelo Smith. We talk about Canelo Smith, hype job. We talk about Josh Kelly. I mean, he looked to be the goods when he was a prospect, and he looked like the British Roy Jones. But when he fought Ray Robinson, looked like a hype job. You know, Josh Kelly, if he don't perform against David Avanesian, that will cement his hype job status. So not only am I looking for Josh Kelly to beat David Avanesian, I need him to be sensational. I need to see the Josh Kelly that was fighting the bums and the low class fighters in England and hitting them with 8-punch combinations. I need to see that guy. I need to see the guy that had people believing that he could go on to push on to become maybe like a world champion or something special in boxing. You know.
What do you think about Andy Reid's fighting Dillian White? Talks on going for April fight.
We just talked about that.
Yeah,
we just talked about that.
I missed that one.
How many fights does GGG's do with the Zone? They might need to make him fight more fights if he keeps fighting bums. That's what I'm saying. Because you fighting boxing fitness trainers and
say he made.
I'm sick of that.
Jamal Chow offered to fight.
I'm getting sick of Triple G because his whole career has become the last 3 to 4 years of his career have all been about Canelo. I'm sick of the Canelo Triple G. It's in the past. Leave it there. If he fights him again, it's gonna end even worse. He might get stopped. So please do not fight him again.
How about this? Is this the Brazilian fighter I like?
I'm not sure.
I think that's him.
It probably is.
Yeah, I like him. Jose Ramirez Victor.
Yo, one fight that we haven't talked about at all that's gonna be an absolute banger.
What's that?
Is that Marius Briedis versus Junior Leticos.
Oh shit.
That's gonna be a fight, and I'm hoping. Listen, you already know because we know with what's his name with Jason Rosario winning and Lopez fighting soon. I'm going with South Florida on everything.
I'm gonna knock him out.
Dorticos he's from Cuba, but he trains in South Florida. He's a South Florida guy, so I'm going with Dorticos. And even if he wasn't from South Florida, I would still go to Dorticos because he's like the and I mean this in the best of ways. He's like the bootleg Deontay Wilder. He just flattened everybody out cruiserweight. I mean that knockout he had against Andrew Tabiti was one of the most vicious knockouts you ever see in your life. It was my knockout of the year. Oh God, I know Mr. Smith's not gonna like this. He says, I'm fine with Ward and Mayweather being fight of the decade. We are talking about Mayweather beating Canelo easily and Ward stopping Sergey's reign of terror. I mean, I guess that's one way to look at it if you're being optimistic, but Floyd beat a young and weight-trained Canelo, and Ward got a gift and punched Sergey in the nuts. So, and then he spent 60% of the decade boxing one time or less, or not boxing at all. So he can't be fighter of the decade. Any fighter who spends 6 of the 10 years either not boxing or boxing once a year, they cannot be fighter of the decade. Especially not when you got a fighter as great as Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez in your great generation. No way, no how. It is not going down like that. Now Mayweather, I could see that's more of an argument there for Mayweather than Ward to me, even though he didn't box for the other half of the decade. And then I think Mayweather actually, in many ways, he was because I know Mr. Smith, you like Mayweather. I know we talked before. You like Floyd. Floyd is amazing, but let's have it right. When he fought Manny Pacquiao, they made people wait a long time for it. They charged him $100. They put on a horrible undercard, and the fight was a 36-minute tap dancing session.
Yeah.
And listen, I can appreciate the subtleties and the nuances of boxing, but I'm speaking on behalf of the casual boxing fans who have never watched a boxing match before because that for a lot of people that was the first boxing match they ever watched. And Mayweather Pacquiao, it was a colossal letdown. It was a colossal letdown, and people felt robbed, gypped, swindled, bamboozled, whatever word you want to use to feel like they stole from the people. That's what it was. So Pacquiao too. I'm disqualifying Pacquiao Mayweather from both being fighter of the decade just for that fight. And same thing. And for Ward, you can't be the fighter of the decade boxing one time or less for 60% of the decade. No, that's not going on. It's not going down like that.
Then about this fight right here.
That's what I'm saying. TJ Ford. Ward wasted 2 years of his prime. Got losing in court to Dan Goosen.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you gonna see a promoter, right? And lose to him multiple times, or I don't know if it was multiple times. But he lost to him at some point.
It's crazy.
I just told you, Mr. Smith. There's only one choice fighter of the decade. It's Roman Gonzalez. Roman Cholatito Gonzalez is the only fighter of the decade. He's the only one that's fighter of the decade. He's the only one that did anything unprecedented in the last decade. He first of all, he became the first fighter from his country to win a world title in 4 weight classes. He was so good, HBO had to start televising other fighters in his weight classes and make whole cards for them. He outsold Deontay Wilder. He's saying that he's too unknown. He's too unknown, but he's outselling Andre Ward. He's outselling Deontay Wilder. He's outselling Sergey Kovalev, but he's unknown. How are you gonna sell more tickets? How are more people in America paying for tickets to see Roman Gonzalez than Andre Ward, than Deontay Wilder? But yet he's the one who's unknown, and then it's not Andre Ward. I mean, we had somebody in here earlier who is from Oakland. I don't know if he's still here, but he's from Oakland,
yeah.
and he lives 15 minutes from the Oracle Arena, and he said he didn't know who Ward was till 2015. Come on, man. I know I'm not the biggest Ward fan. I know I don't like the guy, but like, come on. To be the fighter of the decade, you gotta fight. Remember when I interviewed Don Turner? Yeah. I asked Don Turner. I said, "What's the difference between fighters of this generation and fighters of the old generation?" And he's like, "They fought. They fought." And it's the same thing here. They fought. He fought. Roman Gonzalez fought.
I told my son when we go to North Carolina, we're gonna hunt their what's his name down. I love talking to him. How about this Anthony Smith fight?
We talked about that on the last slide, but that's a great fight right there. Listen, if you guys are looking for, because I know boxing in January is usually a slow month, and we had that Demetrius Boo Andrade card coming up, and Demetrius Andrade is fighting a tune-up against Luke Keeler.
This guy got some power.
And what's his name? Luke Keeler. He's fighting Luke Keeler, and they got Jake Paul fighting some other YouTube vlogger. So they got a couple BS fights on the card. But if you are looking for an absolute banger of a fight that nobody's really talking a lot about right now, unless you're a hardcore boxing fan, this Anthony Sims Jr. versus Romer and Gulo, that's a fight right there. That's gonna be a fight.
Oh, they both got power.
They both got power. Anthony Sims got skills though. I think Anthony Sims is going places. I think he'll be world champ.
Anthony Smith is not rated, but Angulo is.
Angulo is a tough, durable fighter. I mean, I remember when he fought what's his name, Gilberto Ramirez, and Gilberto was hitting him with a lot of good shots, and he just kept coming forward, and he kept, he gave him some good work, and he spars here in the gyms in Miami, and I have friends who have sparred this guy.
Yeah.
And they tell me, listen, this Ramirez guy, he's tough, man. He's gonna really be in the mix. So.
Yeah.
This is a big step up for Anthony Sims. Anthony Sims has been flying under the radar. If you're looking at an American prospect that's not really getting a lot of love or attention right now, that will be a world champion or that could be a world champion in the near future,
you always like
Anthony Sims Jr. could be that guy. Of course I like him. He had a Lacoste robe.
Yeah.
He had a Lacoste robe when he came to the ring. Shout out to him. LA12 says this. He says, I think Luke Keeler will put up a good fight and make it interesting. Luke Keeler's been on a bit of a winning streak. I did watch his fight with Luis Arias, and he looked good against Luis Arias. So I'm not shitting on the guy. He's a solid guy. But let's not make no mistakes about it. Let's not have no qualms about this. It's Super Bowl week. Eddie Hearn trying to build Andrade into a bigger name. he got him a guy that Andrade would look like $10 million against, and that's that's what it is in Luke Keeler.
Who the hell is this? Oh, Morris Sparks. That'd be a good fight.
Eh,
You not excited about that?
eh.
Well, he's not getting on the big fight right now. Who will you put him against?
I don't know.
We're talking about Joseph
Parker, Marius Walker. What do you guys think about Joseph Parker versus Marius Walker? Apparently, that's a fight coming up. That's a fight that's being rumored. And LA12 has agreed with me. He says Anthony Sims Jr. is the most underrated American prospect. Nobody talks about him. In fact, like, look, I got thousands of videos on YouTube. I talk about prospects all the time.
Yeah.
I don't even think I have one Anthony Sims Jr. video on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm going to soon because I'm probably going to interview him when I see him. But I'm just saying, that's how underrated he is. Fam, he beat the Boogeyman twice. He won the Super 6, and GGG ducked him. In regards to Sergey, maybe one of those were body. Sergey looked for a way out. Nah.
Yeah,
Listen, we've talked about this at length, Mr. Smurf.
What's happening?
He hit him in his nuts.
You read this, man?
Huh? Deontay Wilder's co-manager tells Anthony Joshua to forget about the fight offer.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is British news.
Otto Wallen got a fight on Showtime with the former champion. Who's Otto Wallen fighting? Well, it'd be good to see him back in action. You know, he's coming off that good one. Who's he fighting?
I forgot. I looked it up.
Otto Wallen.
No, he was just talking about Fury, I think. I don't think he has a fight coming out.
Who?
Otto Wallen.
Shout out to my man Otto. We ain't talking about Otto from Rocket Power.
Dude, if they get 50-50 split, isn't that a lot of money?
If the fight generates a lot of money, yeah.
It's gonna generate that money.
Talking about Joshua
Yeah.
Wilder? Let's see, who is this guy fighting? It doesn't say who he's fighting.
No, he was just talking about Fury. The top rank, he was talking about Fury and about
No, but they're saying he's fighting a former champion. I'm trying to see who they're fighting. Who he's fighting.
Look over top rank.
No, that'd be a good fight right there. Otto Wallen versus Joseph Parker. That'd be a good fight. I like to see that fight. That'd be a decent fight. Ward never became the star that he was supposed to be. No, he didn't. He didn't. And I think a lot of that was self-inflicted with him losing 2 years of his prime. Because as a fighter, unless you're Muhammad Ali, you can't be losing 2 years of your prime. You can't. You just can't. One thing me and you can agree on is that if Fury beats Wilder, then he is the unanimous best heavyweight in the world. I agree. And honestly, Mr. Smurf, you know, I love Fury and I'm picking him to win still, but honestly, I'm very worried for him because I just think Deontay Wilder right now, the belief he has in himself, no, he's not fighting nobody. The belief he has in himself right now, the knockouts he's getting, it's going to take a very special performance to beat him. And, you know, I want him to stop Deontay Wilder, to be honest with you. I think he's going to try his best to do that, but hopefully, like I talked to Riddick Bowe a lot. Like Riddick Bowe told me in the past, like I always ask Riddick Bowe, like if he fought Wilder, how would he fight him?
Yeah.
And Riddick says, "Oh well, if I fought him, I would go to the body. I don't understand." He always tells me, "Brendan, I don't understand why these guys fight Wilder and they don't go to that body." And I said, "Because they can't find the inside like you. That's why. If they can find the inside like you, they'd go to the body."
Yeah.
Lucas Brown would be a decent fight, but I don't know, man. Lucas Brown, he got stopped by Dave Allen, so. You know, do we really want to see Joseph Parker in there with a guy that got stopped by Dave Allen? I'd rather just see Joseph Parker versus Dave Allen if we're going to talk about Lucas Brown.
Yeah.
Fury will either outbox him again or go to sleep. I mean, listen, boxing is boxing. They don't call boxing the theater of the unexpected for no reason.
Jacob's fighting him.
Oh, Carlos Takam back in action February 28th. Shout out to Carlos Takam. Yeah, I do too. In fact, I was wearing my Deontay Wilder hoodie today in Miami.
Yeah.
If anybody in the LDDC would have saw me in Miami today, they would have said, "Was that BT? Is that True School Sports?"
They
would have said, "Wow, he's wearing a Wilder hoodie." Yeah, I was wearing it out in public today. So I like them both, believe it or not. And if Wilder wins, great for him.
Oh, they're gonna have the fight.
If Fury wait, great for him too.
They're gonna fight Nigeria.
Anthony Joshua next fight very close to being Kuat Pulev with Nigeria in the mix. Okay, shout out to him.
Oh man, they don't want Usyk and Parker fighting. Jesus.
So yeah, it's your boy BT. We're live here on True School Sports. Shout out to all 15 of you guys that have been with us for over an hour and 49 minutes.
What the hell is bit of a waffler means?
Anthony Joshua eager to face Usyk. Says Fury is a bit of a waffler. I don't know, man. I can't keep up with all
Like
this.
a wimp?
I don't know what all this British slang is. Like they got too many. The Brits, the way you guys talk over there, like I'm sorry, the way the Brits talk is just you guys got too many different sayings. Like I actually learned this one like really British saying, and like if you meet a girl, like let's say you meet a girl right in the UK, let's say you meet a girl and you're dating her seriously,
Yeah.
but you don't think she's wifey material, then you're gonna say that she's a couple of sandwiches short of a picnic.
I charge to return March 7th.
Oh God.
You don't like him?
I don't know. What do you guys think about F.A. Jogba? I'm not really a fan of F.A. Jogba. I never really have been. I mean, he's a big, strong heavyweight, but I mean, there's a lot of big, strong heavyweights. I don't know. I'm not. I mean, he's 25 years old, so there's still a lot of room to grow. There's a lot of development there to be had and be made with him. But I don't know. I just never liked F.A. F.A. Jogba. When I see his name or I see his fights, it just doesn't do anything for me. I think he's overrated. LA12 agrees with me. Yeah, overrated. I'm not really a big fan of F.A. Jogba.
He doesn't have movement. I would say he doesn't have movement.
Like, there's not one, like, skill in particular that I can pick out and say, you know what, man, this guy, because he has this skill, because he has this thing about him, he's going to go places. Like, I just see him as another solid guy, fringe contender.
Joshua Furrier said he wants to fight. Next 3 fights, Wilder, Joshua, then White.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, so we got a lot of good things coming up here on True School Sports. I'll be going to 5th Street Gym Saturday again. I was supposed to go to the gym tomorrow, but I'm not going tomorrow actually. Because he's not at the gym tomorrow. So
this guy looks scary.
Who?
Helenas, whatever his name is.
I fought guys like Konaki. I wouldn't be surprised. Listen, I've been telling him since the fight got because Adam Konaki was rumored to fight Dominic Brazil, right? He's rumored to fight him. Now he's fighting Robert Helenius, and I think this is actually a better fight.
You think so?
I think that this is a better fight
you told me that,
than the Brazil fight would have been. Because I think when you get beat up the way Brazil's been getting beat up, he already had slow reflexes.
Yeah.
He's going to have even slow reflexes when he comes back in that ring. I think Helenius versus Konaki is a better fight, and I'm rooting for Helenius. Truthfully, I don't like Konaki. I don't like how he turned on the Joshua offer. So
he just gave a prediction of Wallen. That's all he did. He never really came out and said he was fighting anyone.
Yeah.
I want to see that fight. Dylan Wright and Ruiz.
So if Floyd tap danced against Pacquiao, man, what the hell was Joshua doing against Ruiz? I've never seen that much running in a while. You know what? You got a fair point. He was doing some tap dancing too for heavyweight. But you know what? I'll tell you this. He didn't charge nobody $100 pay-per-view. So I can't get as mad at him. I didn't have to wait 5 years for that. And it wasn't $100 pay-per-view. So I mean, you got a point. I give you credit there. Yeah. Joshua didn't, go. I mean, he didn't go there to hurt Ruiz. He changed his whole style up.
Yeah.
For the fight, he fought the fight that worked for him, but he also didn't make him wait 5 years and charge $100 per pay-per-view. So
what do you think about can Jarrell Miller become a factor in the heavyweight division after signing with Top Rank? What do you think about that?
No.
You don't think so?
Hell no.
You think the Bob father will sign him just to sign him?
He's gonna use as an opponent. He'll fatten him up. We'll get him some wins against maybe it's a couple of nobodies and maybe a decent name here, and then feed him to Fury.
Who the hell did I need to be calling the things?
I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Jarrell Miller can be a factor in the heavyweight division? I don't see it, man. Like he's been out the ring for a minute. Even when he was active, I don't see it. He don't got the punch power to hurt them guys.
Look at this fight.
Top guys.
Philip Hogan.
Ooh, now that's a fight right there. That's a fight.
It's
right
in the
there.
making. That means it's not done yet.
So good? Apparently, Philip Hrgovic versus Martin Bakole. That's a fight that's being talked about right now. And these are the kind of fights that if you're Philip Hrgovic, you need to be talking about having. Be a beast. I've been saying he's gonna be a beast. One of Croatia's very own. He's honestly after one that Florida Panthers jersey. He's one of South Florida's adopted own. But no, aside from that, Hrgovic's been stopping everybody they put him in there with. They keep stepping him up levels, and I think the fight against Bakole would be a good step up for him because Bakole's been getting some good wins. Recently, he's on a win streak, and listen, I've been watching Bakole real closely. Ever since he lost to Michael Hunter, I've been watching him real closely fighting his undercards. He's been picking up good wins. He's been looking, pretty good. I think Bakole really believes he can beat Hrgovic or Dubois. I believe that he believes.
Yeah.
And when you get a fighter like that who believes in himself like
He
that,
even said it after that fight. He said I won all the big fights.
yeah. Apparently, too, according to LA 12, Hrgovic wants to go to the Olympics.
Oh, is that good or bad? Is that
Because you know,
yeah.
you can now go if the Olympics has a thing now where you can go to the Olympics as a pro.
Yeah.
And the WBC was saying if any fighter who goes to the Olympics as a pro will be removed from the rankings or banned from the rankings.
Yeah, I've seen that
But
too.
Hrgovic still wants to go to the Olympics. It'd be sick. I mean, listen, it's tough. It is what it is. Like, I don't know how that works, but listen, if a guy wants to represent his country in the Olympics, and they can find a way to do that in a fair manner, which I mean, I don't know how you make that fair because a guy who's a world level pro versus some amateur fighter. I mean, I don't know how you
even go there.
I don't know how you make that fair because like again, you're still at the end of the day, you're still getting punched in the head. So I don't know. I think it's. I mean, it's. I can't really tell a guy not to go represent his country. If he wants to represent his country in the Olympics, that's what he wants to do. But
isn't that what that guy from McKinley's doing? Nacho Lopez?
No, he's not a pro.
Oh,
okay. He's not a pro.
Oh, okay. How about this? Do you think Oscar could beat any of these two guys? I don't.
Yes.
He could beat Andrew Reese. I don't think he's gonna beat Daniel Dubois. You think so?
Huh?
Think he's gonna beat Daniel Dubois?
He can beat one of those guys.
Oscar Rivas could beat Daniel Dubois.
Listen, I'm telling my dad now. My dad asked me a question. I gave him a response. He said, "Do you think Oscar Rivas could beat Dillian White or not Dillian White, Andy Ruiz or Daniel Dubois?" I said, "Yeah, why not? He's a good fighter.
I'm not saying he's not
got good punching power. He's just smart guy, somewhat of a smart fighter. You know, why not? I give him a chance." Mr. Smith says the Julian stoppage was heartbreaking. I'm not sure why he was exchanging like that. He should have smelled it and picked his shots instead of exchanging in the pocket. Listen, Mr. Smith, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but Julian Williams, whenever he's the favorite going into a fight, he never fights good ever. Ever. Never fights good ever. I can't think of a fight in his career where he's winning as an overwhelming favorite and just done what he's supposed to do. You know, when he fought Charlo, I felt like he was a slight favorite in that fight. He got stopped. He goes into this fight as a 27-1 underdog and gets absolutely obliterated. Now, I'll tell you this, Mr. Smurf. Jason Rosario, he's a guy that trains in my area. He's from South Florida. He's from Miami. He trains at Fifth Street Gym. And I know his coach is really good. I just interviewed him recently, actually. I haven't put it out yet, but I interviewed his coach recently. Luis Perez and Dino Spencer at Fifth Street Gym. And the whole camp, I talked to Coach Lewis a lot. And the whole camp, Coach Lewis is telling me, look, this guy, Jason Rosario, Brendan, he's going to go in there and he's going to turn in a great performance. He's going to beat this guy. He's going to stop him. He's going to batter him up. He's going to bruise him up. It's not going to be even close. And I'm like, man, this guy, why the hell is this guy so confident? Why the hell is this guy so confident? So we saw what happened. I agree with you. I think Julian Williams fought the wrong fight. But then I also think too, like when he got touched with that counter right hand and got cut, it kind of just I think him being in Philadelphia, like for many fighters when they fight back at home, and if any fighter fights back at home and they have any sort of trouble, the pressure is like times 10 because when you're at home, you want to perform well, not just for your family and your friends that are at the fight, but you want to perform well for yourself so that when you leave the venue, you can have a good memory of what you did in the ring in your hometown. So when you experience any sort of pressure, it gets like a lot more difficult to win the fight, and that's what happened. The pressure mounted on him, just from wanting to do well in front of his family and his friends in his hometown, but then. The pressure that Rosario was put on his ass, oh my God. Rosario.
He was patient.
He's big, he's strong,
tall.
He's hungry. And listen, I talked to his trainers just the other day, and they were telling me, they said, Brendan, look, this guy, if you think, and they were saying this before the fight, if you think that he's going to fight the Rosario from the first 19 fights, you're gravely mistaken. Because this Rosario, now he's getting proper time to train. They actually told me exactly how they train him, and the way they train this guy is like crazy, next level stuff. Like next level stuff. Well, actually, I don't want to say next level stuff. Nothing's new under the sun in boxing. It's nothing you guys haven't heard of before, but I'm saying it's very detailed and regimented, and they pay a lot of attention to the detail in this camp, and they were prepared for this fight. And I'm interested to see when Rosario was now the champion, because listen, it's one thing to go in there and fight with all this heart and fight with all this courage when you're the challenger.
Yeah.
But then when you become a champion, okay, you got a belt, you got some money, you're doing all right for yourself. Maybe you bought your wife a car, or your mother a house, like Andy Ruiz.
Yeah.
Can you maintain that same hunger in the rematch? Can you maintain the same intensity in camp, getting ready for the rematch? That's what I want to see from Rosario. Now, listen, I like Rosario. He's a good fighter. He's now, as far as I'm concerned, he's the guy in the division because he beat the guy in the division in Julian Williams.
I know how you look at it.
And he's from South Florida, so I gotta
Push for him.
I gotta root for him. He's from South Florida. I gotta root for him. He's from the Dominican Republic, but I'm saying he's a South Florida fighter.
Do you think Derevchenko is good for WWE middleweight rankings?
Yeah, I love Derevchenko. I
Fight Jamal Charlo.
He should be the champ. He should be the champ.
You think he's gonna beat him? He won't beat Jamal Charlo.
Derevchenko?
Yeah.
He could beat Jamal Charlo. He stopped Jamal Charlo. Why are you looking at him
Didn't he fight GG and GG beat him?
Did you watch the GGG fight? GGG did not beat him. They robbed him.
Okay.
They didn't. They gave him a gift.
So you're saying he would beat
He would fold Charlo up.
the number one WBC?
He would fold him up.
Oh shoot! You go there.
What do you guys think? You guys think
Jamal Charlo?
Jamal Charlo will beat Derevchenko? My dad thinks I'm crazy.
WBC number one. Yeah.
Patrick Teixeira versus Spike O'Sullivan. I heard Spike will move down for
Oh yeah, he did say that, Spike O'Sullivan.
a title shot, and both are Golden Boy fighters. That's a good fight. You know, Patrick Teixeira, he's coming off of a fantastic win against Carlos Adames. You know, pretty much stopped the whole Carlos Adames hype train before it even got started, really. And I know, congrats to him. He's right now. He's the only Brazilian world champion in boxing, and he's flying the flag high for Brazil in boxing. You know, Patrick Teixeira has come a long way from being that guy who got destroyed by Curtis Stevens.
Yeah.
On the Canelo undercard. So, you know, fair play to him. He's world champ. Spike O'Sullivan, good fight for him, moving down to 154. If he feels strong at the weight, because we saw how strong and sturdy he was at 160.
He's old too, though, man.
Who?
Spike, I think, isn't he? Isn't Spike O'Sullivan old?
Yeah. John Morgan says Trump-tastic.
All right, don't talk. Hold on.
Yeah, I think Derevchenko will beat Charlo, though. There's no way. Well, I won't say there's no way, but I would favor Derevchenko to beat Jamal Charlo. So yeah. But yeah, we're so far, we're 2 hours into our live for the day here on True School Sports. We spent the first hour talking about Fight of the Decade. So on the replay, if you didn't see it, go watch it on the replay when this comes out. The second hour, we've been talking about what's going on in boxing. And the third hour, we'll continue to talk about what's going on in boxing. And you guys just comment whatever you want. It don't even have to be about boxing. You know what? The last hour, anything goes. Yeah, anything goes the last hour. It don't even gotta be boxing related. It could be about whatever you want it to be about. And we will acknowledge the comment.
Yeah.
One SSS, shout out to him, he's back.
Hey, isn't this guy playing tonight too? Anybody watching him?
Oh, Zion Williamson?
Yeah.
Oh, type in Zion Williamson. Let's see how Zion did. One SSS says, can we make Pops an ambassador for the WBO? Puerto Rico, stand up. Puerto Rico, stand up.
That's right, baby. El boricua, el puertorriqueño. Yo voy a ser embajador del boxeo completo para que lo sepa Puerto Rico.
Facts. Hey, what do you think about Verdejo getting a win this past weekend?
I think it looked pretty good. It's better than what I've seen him of late. So I think he's going to get better with his new trainer. His foot, whatchamacallit. I think he's definitely going to be good. I'll never talk about Puerto Rico.
He's got 2-0. Wait, what do you say?
I'll never talk about Puerto Rican boxing.
Are you on? Do you have a short memory?
Wow, okay.
Do I mention Derek Cuevas?
Don't talk about that motherfucker.
Derek Cuevas. So listen, guys. There's this prospect. There's this prospect that used to fight on these local South Florida cards. Puerto Rican welterweight prospect, Derek Cuevas. You know, and he headlined a couple of cards out here. Within the last couple of years. And my dad's seen him fight a couple of times. And my dad hates him. There's a video on my channel of my dad saying this guy sucks. And my dad was just telling me he never talks bad about Puerto Rican fighters, so I had to let him know. Did you forget about Derek Cuevas? Because you hated Derek Cuevas. You said he sucked.
Some shit.
Oh man.
I'm gonna be going that. I was gonna lightweight. Like in basketball.
What's his name? Mr. Smurf says that they gifted Golovkin and Derevchenko fight because of the Canelo robberies. It's a good point. I never thought of it like that, but you're right. That's a hell of a point. Was Danny Garcia more elite at 140? The man was unified champ. He was a country mile more elite at 140. He was a more devastating fighter. He was more vicious. He was a hungrier fighter. At 140, you know, and then he paid Victor Postol that step aside money. He moved to 147, and ever since then it's been businessman. You know, God bless him.
Yeah.
He's got a lovely family. I know what area he lives in South Florida. He lives in a very nice area. Got himself a mansion. He owns a couple of Dunkin' Donuts restaurants in South Florida.
Who?
Danny Garcia. He owns a couple of Dunkin' Donuts restaurants. Fun fact about Danny Garcia, if you guys don't know,
You gotta give it to him though. He's just like stupid with money.
he owns a couple of Dunkin' Donuts in South Florida. Most people don't know that, but I know his business partner. So like his business partner owns Dunkin' Donuts, and Danny like kind of like co-owns it with him. Do you think Charlo is ducking Canelo? Yes, I think no.
Yeah, I heard just offer lucrative
Oh
offer.
no, he said, do I think we think Charlo is ducking Canelo, not Canelo ducking Charlo?
The Charles talk too much shit. They don't do nothing about it. I still want to see old.
Why you running your mouth?
My son says about old man Jacobs. I still say.
Yeah, he should fight Jacobs. That'd be a good fight. But
I'm so sick and tired of Charles. Lions only.
Lions only.
And now one of them just tweeted because Rosario said that before he even fights anybody else, he's got to do the mandatory with rematch with Rock Williams. And one of the Charles said, "Yeah, what's now this now? Lions only." Well, when they asked you to fight J Rock, what did you say after you got the fucking belts?
So who?
Charlo.
What are you talking about?
When Charlo, I mean, not Jack Williams, but Charlo beat Harrison, they asked him, "What are you gonna do?" You didn't say you want a rematch with Harrison. You went on and said, I gotta take care of business. And my son and I said he probably wants to go up there and fight J Rock. Now all of a sudden, a surprise in the bag, and what's his name? Rosario won, and now you want him to fight you because you're the Lions and whatever bullshit you want to talk about. You didn't want to sit up and give a rematch right away to Harrison when Harrison was respectful enough to give it to you. So guess what? Now you're getting your own medicine, and I hope Banana Rosario sends you back to motherfuckers to your cage with your dens. Sorry ass shit with your dens, Lions bullshit.
Yo, you're going in.
Yeah, because
You sound like Andy Garcia right now.
because he's crying about motherfucker Charles are crying about. Oh, excuse me. The Charles are crying about when he lost to Harrison respectfully gave a rematch, right? Harrison lost. Harrison asked him to have a rematch. Oh, I gotta think about it. He's thinking about a J-Rock. Now he's getting the same medicine thrown back at him by Rosario. Now he's getting mad because he's a lion. You're a punk. Fight the real people too. You just like Canelo. Fight the right people.
Damn.
Sick and tired of the Charles.
Can I ask you a question?
Hmm?
Can you please tell me how you really feel? Tell me how you really feel.
I just get mad. Now he's crying because he's got to wait. No, you didn't want to do the same to somebody else. When Jacobs walked up to you and faced up to both of you, you all didn't talk.
Apparently, Charlo's team turned on a Canelo offer. So what you think? What do you think about that?
Robin?
Canelo's team or Charlo's team, they turned on an offer to fight Canelo.
No, they did. They turned out offer. They're right. That's facts. I just was reading about that. Charles turned off. Yeah. So guess what?
J Rock is getting a rematch against Rosario because he had a rematch clause, and Rosario says he wants to give him a rematch.
Yeah.
Because he gave him the opportunity. His coach said that too.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Coach Luis Perez.
So, you want to be a real lion? You want to be king of the jungle? You need to stand up and fight the real people and start running away from them.
That's right.
Old man Jacob's been calling you for a minute.
A minute.
A minute!
Hot minute too.
And you haven't done nothing about it. Last fight he won, he still called your asses out.
He's not Coach Mel right
And
now.
you still haven't done nothing about it. So stop crying or roaring like a little a cub and be a strong lion and roar like a true lion.
And be a shark on the ocean.
That's it.
You got a family, man. Virgil Hunter. What about Jared Hurd's opponent? Listen, we touched on that on the last live. That is the worst. You know what? I'll swing it over to Pop. What about Jared Hurd's opponent? He find a guy who fought at welterweight.
You find the Mickey Mouse is to me just a tune-up.
A tune-up.
Jared Hurd doesn't want to move up. He did say he wants to become undisputed in 154, so that's what he wants to do, so be it. But you got to prove yourself now. You got to come out and prove yourself. You just lost all your belts.
All of them.
To J-Rock. And I understand you have been away for a little bit, but guess what?
Guess what, champ?
You want it, you got to go get it. And you ain't getting it at the food stamp line.
You're not getting it at the food stamp line. No EBT over here, champ.
Yeah.
No EBT.
No disrespect, I'm just saying.
And listen, I like EBT.
Okay, anyways.
EBT ain't bad.
Oh.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Mm-hmm.
Lost one has a good question here, and I'm going to answer that. He says, "Hey man, how come you left the UK? Did you get the tie-in and Calzaghe interview? I didn't catch them. No, I unfortunately. Well, first of all, I left the UK because it was very cold, and I was there for 3 weeks, and I basically went out there with no money. I'm just gonna tell you the real because you asked me the question, so I'm gonna tell you the real. I bought my ticket to the UK in May last year. I had time to plan and prepare. I failed to plan and prepare like I should have. Then, due to just like life happening and stuff like that, because life happens. Was moving. My living situation wasn't very stable for a lot of last year.
Fighters are not unreliable. They say one thing, they do another.
And then when I got to the UK, right, when I got there, a lot of these guys gave me the runaround, and I didn't really have the fun to get around. So that's why I didn't get the interviews, unfortunately. But hopefully in the future we'll get them on True School Sports. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened, to be honest with you.
Yeah. You said?
But I got what I could. At least I got the Caliafy interview. That's pretty cool. And shouts out to Caliafy.
And the McCracken thing.
And Max McCracken and Raza Hamza. So the trip didn't go in vain. I made some decent connections. Yep. It was bad.
You made good friends.
It was good. Huh?
You gave good friends with Yarify. He liked you.
Yeah, I became cool with Gamaliafy and Caliafy and Raza Hamza. So I got some cool people I know. The next time I go there, me and Gamaliafy got to spar around though. That's an agreement we had the next time I go there. So next time I go there, whenever that is, me and Gamaliafy, who punched the shit out of me with the body shield on him, we gotta get around it. I don't like how he punched me. So next time I'm not gonna sit there. I'm gonna show him my speed next time. At least you dare to be great. I did dare to be great. And listen, sometimes in life you take risks. You fall short, but at least you try, and that's what happened. Jairo Galvez says, "Is Jasper Indian? He was good in your discussion videos. Maybe we'll see him someday." Yeah, Jasper is Indian. Shout out to Jasper. I haven't really talked to him a ton since I got back. I know, like while I was there, I'm not gonna disclose like his personal life, nothing like that. But he's a very busy man. I'll put it like that. He's a very busy man. He's always running around. So I've had a chance to talk to him. But I hope that if he comes in here and he sees this, that he's doing well, and I got massive love for Jasper. He's probably like, probably my best friend in the UK, to be honest with you. The guy was nothing but great to me my whole time I was there, and I got nothing but love for him, and I would do anything for him, if he just says the word. So yes, God bless Jasper, God bless his family, and shout out to everybody all the wonderful people that I met in the great city of Birmingham in the UK, and I can't wait to go back again, when my life is more in order, so.
I heard say you put a Lele Ali and Clarissa Shields fight. The only problem is not promoting either one.
What happened?
He was saying he would put the women's clash between Lele Ali and Clarissa Shields talking shit about her. He said he put it on one of his headlines, but the only problem is not fucking their promoters.
Rich Styles says, "I've missed a lot of boxing over the years, but you can fill the hole." Yeah, shout out to Rich. He was here in our last live. I remember Rich. He was saying that I don't know if he stated that you were a new boxing fan or that you haven't watched boxing in a while.
Down to him, yeah.
But any questions you have, Rich, anything that you need me to fill you in on, I will do my best to try to fill you in on the best I can.
Far away!
Far away! Like Rick Glazer just said that.
Far away! Hold on, what's going on? I'm trying to find out what the news is going on.
But yeah, the UK trip was great. I met lovely people. I've had some great experiences. I come back to America with a new perspective on life. So I feel like in a way, the trip matured me in some ways that I wasn't expecting it to. And coming, I think coming back to America, I appreciate South Florida a lot more. And when I go to the UK, like the next time I'll know what to do, what not to do. So yeah, hopefully that happens. But I'm in no rush to go back. To be honest with you, I'm in no rush to go back anytime soon. Because the next time I go back, I want it to be a really good trip. I want it to be like the way I want everything to go smoothly, or go a lot more smoothly than it did when I was there last time. So.
Because you keep the same stitch, man.
Good for him. The Tyson Fury employs revered cut man Stitch Duran.
That's the same one, right?
Stitch Duran is like the most famous cut man in boxing with the glasses.
He didn't keep the guy that when he got that big cut last fight? He got rid of him?
Nope. Tyson Fury's changing everything.
Damn.
Kovalev had all 3 major belts, but why didn't he ever get the fight with Adonis Stevenson? Then the Ward fights happened. Okay, so the Adonis Stevenson fight's an interesting thing because they both had a dispute because both were contracted to fight with different networks. Kovalev was an HBO fighter. Stevenson was a Showtime fighter. So Kovalev was saying, well, Stevenson wanted to fight on Showtime because it would be easier for him. Kovalev wanted on HBO. Um, the fights were supposed to go to purse bid. It never went to purse bid, and the fight just deteriorated. Stevenson went and fought subpar competition and held the WBC belt hostage until he lost to Vosdick. And because the Kovalev and him couldn't come to an agreement, Kovalev then decided to move on, and then he eventually fought Andre Ward twice. And to be fair, I think it is fair to say that Stevenson ducked the fight because Kovalev was the guy in the division, not Stevenson. Kovalev had more belts. He was, technically Stevenson was the lineal champion, but Kovalev had more of the belts. He had beaten better fighters. So, with that being said, he should have, he was the A side in that case. He didn't have to placate Stevenson. Okay? Stevenson ducked mandatories for years. Like he went like years without fighting mandatory. He ducked Elliot Alvarez too. So, it was what it was. It's one of those great fights we never got to see happen. Would have loved to see it happen because I would have given Adonis Stevenson a great chance with the left hand he's got, the punch power he's got. I could see him catching Kovalev in an exchange. So it's unfortunate, but hey, that's boxing. One SS asked a great question. He says, "Who remembers boxing on BET?"
Oh man, I remember that. Man, I go back. BET, the Black Channel.
Yeah.
No, I never seen that.
Okay, cause you don't know about that.
No, back my.
There was like one fight that correct me if I'm wrong, one SS, but there was one fight that I remember really well. I think there might have been one fight period on BET. Do you know what it was? I'll give you a hint. He was nominated for Fighter of the Decade.
He was nominated?
The guy
Floyd.
No. Ward.
Okay.
Ward fought on BET against Paul Smith. And they had Sway commentating.
Okay.
You know Sway?
Yeah.
They had Sway commentating.
Sway
yeah, him. They had Sway commentating. It was very different. They had Steph Curry walk Andre Ward to the ring in front of 200 people.
Wow, is that like the only one they had?
It's the only one that I remember for some reason. One SS. Were there any other fights on BET? Because I can't remember if there were other fights on BET. By the way, look there. Look, these videos are exploding with that Kid White Chocolate.
Yeah, I seen that.
Look, that's the fight with Milton Nunez, and that's
told you.
I don't know why. I think he shared it because he's got like a big following.
That's good to read.
Good for True School.
Yeah, listen. Even in the UK, BT Sports and Sky Sports are fighting a bidding war on who wants to take the rematch who wants to show the fight when it happens.
Man, there's a lot of stuff going on in boxing, man. That's a lot of stuff.
I'm talking about the TV networks over here.
Yeah.
With Dante Wilder get hit that here in the US.
What, 10 million pounds? 10 million pounds? You know how much 10 million pounds is?
It's like what?
It's more than $10 million.
Yeah, what I'm saying, like, you don't have Deontay won't get that in the US.
I don't know.
Deontay is just loyal.
He's loyal to Shelly Finkel.
And stealing his money.
But yeah, you guys drop your comments. Anything goes for this last hour.
Hey.
We'll be here for like 2 hours.
What about Usyk, man? Nothing about Usyk, man.
My man, Al the Pow, what's good, champ? How you doing? Al the Pow. I think he's from South Florida.
Everybody's hitting on Usyk, man. I heard nothing about Usyk.
You hearing from music?
Like Lily, nobody. That guy.
I think I saw a comment. I'm not sure if it was real, but I
Yeah.
saw a comment from Usyk where it was like, he said,
I'm looking at it right now.
Usyk said, Fury said,
Yeah.
we don't care about Usyk because the West world doesn't care about Usyk because he's from like a communist country.
Yeah,
He said that some crazy comment.
That's crazy.
Yeah, one that says, apparently, yeah, Andre Ward versus Paul Smith Jr. was the only fight on BET. It was so hilarious. It was when Rock Nation was really throwing money into into boxing. Yes, Al the Pal. It's 11:50 out here in South Florida. I was supposed to go live this morning because I'm trying to get on this new schedule, but then the power went out, and then I had to go run errands with my dad. So, and then by the time I got back, I was tired, so I took a nap, and so we're live here again. So I figured I said, you know what? I didn't go live when I said I was gonna go live, so I'll get the people about an extra hour.
Yeah, like We don't know what fight we want to go to, Los Angeles or to go to Barclays. We're going to a big fight.
Here we go. Hold on. I'm gonna get to them in a second. Just tuned in. How can you say Mayweather winning fighter of the decade is a joke? Besides beating Pacquiao and Clomutero, we can't turn a blind eye that boxing is business, and he was the highest earner of the decade. Okay, these are fair points. Lawrence, how can we say it's a joke? I mean, we broke it down earlier, but if you wanna go back to that, okay, it's fighter of the decade,
not business outside the ring,
not businessman of the decade. He only fought for 5 years of the decade,
and then he got to win against who? An MMA fighter.
And one of his wins is an MMA fighter. He fought Conor McGregor. And then he had a 36-minute tap dancing session with Pacquiao, which would set the sport back for years in America. So no, I disqualified Pacquiao for the same reason. They are both part of a 36-minute shit show tap dancing session, where they charge people $100 pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Made us wait 5 years, charged $100, and then set the sport back for years. So I disqualified Floyd for that, and I disqualified Pac. The fighter of the decade is neither of them. The fighter of the decade is not Canelo either. It's not Andre Ward. It's Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. No doubt about it. Roman Gonzalez is the fighter of the decade, and it's not even close. It's not even close. He fought. He took more risks of the guys that were nominated for fighter of the decade. He took more risks than all of them. He beat better competition than all of them. He literally opened up the door to a whole new weight class. I mean, I can make the argument that people wouldn't even care about the Monster Inoue as much as they do now if Roman Gonzalez didn't open that door. You know, he had the highest payday of any flyweight fighter since Michael Carbajal when he made $600,000.
He sold more fights.
He sold more tickets than Andre Ward and Deontay Wilder in some of their big fights, for some of his big fights during the decade. How is he not the fighter of the decade? And I get what you're saying. Boxing is a business. He had the biggest events of the decade. We will not
We're talking about he did inside the ring, not all the Showtime promotions and all this other money on the side. We're talking about what he did in the ring.
I won't refute that Floyd had some of the biggest events of the decade, and that's why ultimately the BWAA gave him the award, because again, this is a business, and why would they name Roman Gonzalez fighter of the decade? Because he's not an American, and he don't speak English, and he didn't really sell what Floyd sold. He didn't generate what Floyd generated, so I understand that. But we're talking about in that boxing ring, there's no way in hell what Floyd did in the past decade is better than what Roman Gonzalez did.
Just ask him that.
And I'm not just talking about who he beat, but I'm talking about how he beat them as well.
Just ask him how's the sport, the integrity of boxing, based on what Floyd Mayweather fought, the UFC or MMA Conor as a victory towards his record. What do you think about that? About the integrity of boxing? Do you really count
don't
that?
forget Tenshin Nasukawa, the kickboxer too. We can't forget about that one either.
So you gonna count those victories? Where's their integrity and the level of respect to the sport, not business, to the sport of boxing itself? So I can go out there and get Paul Bunyan, who cuts trees out somewhere, put him in the ring with me, and energize me as my boxing records.
Floyd is the fighter that can look at it objectively, and I am, by the way. Let's forget his business and his weird personality, which, okay. Looking at him as a fighter, he's beaten better fighters. Okay, I got it right in front of me. This decade he beat Sugar Shane Mosley, Cotto, Victor Ortiz, Ghost Guerrero, Andre Berto, Pacquiao, Canelo, and he beat Maidana twice. Okay, Pacquiao had one. Pacquiao, even with one arm, that fight was still really close. I think it could have been a draw, or it could have went either way. To be honest with you, I don't really think either one of them. I don't think either one of them really separated themselves in that fight. It was a very even fight to me. The Canelo fight, let's be real. Canelo was green, and he weight drained him. I mean, come on. Canelo's face was all sunken in, and he was really green. I'm not taking away from the performance. If anything, I love Floyd for that performance because I can't stand Canelo. I'm glad Floyd screwed him. I wish Floyd would have knocked him out. Honestly, fuck Canelo. Straight up. To hell with him. He can go kick rocks for all I care.
Right now, he wants to fight Canelo.
He wants to fight Ryota Murata. He can go kick rocks. So I'm glad Floyd schooled him. But Canelo was green. He cherry-picked Andre Berto in his fake retirement fight. I would say, to me, the best win of the decade for him was probably Mosley or Cotto. Those are some good wins. Those are two Hall of Fame fighters. Congrats to him. Great career, great fighter. I take nothing away from him. But if we look at what Chocolatito did, Chocolatito was taking risks. Floyd never listen. To be honest with you, Floyd in his entire career never did what Roman Gonzalez did when he fought Carlos Cuadras. Floyd Mayweather at no point in his career did he ever go to a weight class where he was like, I'm talking about like where he's fighting a bigger guy with let me see, with no tune-ups and beat them.
Then he fights two guys that aren't even in the sport.
BT, a win is a win, even though I think AJ did the running man against AJ Reese. I must acknowledge he still won. Okay, he did win, but him running against Andy Ruiz Jr. doesn't have the same negative effect on boxing, particularly here in America, as it did when Floyd fought Pacquiao. Floyd and Pacquiao, that was a whole soap opera, with USADA testing and random blood and urine and Floyd saying his head was too big and just all this stuff. They made us wait all these years. It was a soap opera to have boxing fans salivating for the biggest matchup of our generation. Okay? Then when it happens, you decide. In fact, let's not even talk about the pay-per-view. We know the pay-per-view was $100. Okay, it was $100 per pay-per-view.
Right.
They charge people to go to the weigh-in. They charge people to go to the weigh-in. I understand it's a business, but shit, man. You charge people to go to the weigh-in. You charge people $100 for the fight. You made them wait 5 years.
Right. You're not gonna win the you win.
So I'm not trying to. I'm making my point.
Yeah, he's telling you.
And then you go to the fight,
yeah,
and you get a tap dancing session. Now look, I'm not saying that Floyd should sit there and have an Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward style fight with Manny Pacquiao because that's not in his best interest. But damn, bro. Every time Pacquiao got near you, you out here tying him up, and you turned it into the Black Vladimir Klitschko on fight night.
And I would say, my friend, if you believe in your confidence, you even let Pacquiao get an injection on his shoulder or whatever the hell.
Yeah, a lot of people, Donald Trump included, thought that Donald Trump thought Floyd Mayweather lost the first Marcos Maidana fight. Donald Trump was tweeting about it.
Wow, he was.
He thought Maidana won. He thought
the president of the United States.
The president said so.
Took some time out.
Well, he wasn't the president back then. But in the second fight, and I remember the second fight really well. Remember the second fight, he had Kenny Bayless in there. He was crying about the gloves and all this stuff. And then he turned into the Black Vladimir Klitschko against Maidana, clinching like hell. No warning from Bayless, no point deduction, no nothing. Horrible performance. So look, I'm not saying he's not a great fighter. I'm not saying any of that. I just think
I give respect, and I've said that
for being Canelo. Listen, I love him forever. He beat Canelo.
He's a shrewd businessman. How he's done boxing, how he's promoted himself, how much millions and billions of money he's made outside the ring. What he's doing now in Japan with opening up casinos over there. So I respect Floyd all the way around.
And he's a proud American too. I like that about him.
We're basing our opinion on what he did in the ring in the decade.
Who do you think was the promoter of the decade? I like Eddie Hearn.
I always been a Eddie Hearn fan. So
no, but I'm just saying, like, what he did the last decade. Yo, there's never been a time in boxing history where
about the UK boxing.
Bro, he's literally responsible for making the UK a powerhouse in boxing. Because I don't think at any time in the world's history has the UK been this relevant in boxing history. I mean, they've had some good fighters. But
about the zones in New York.
I won't discredit them. I won't discredit them.
Who does he think?
I don't know. Who do you guys think the promoter of the decade is? I mean, I think when we look at the events Eddie Hearn put on, the way he basically revolutionized British boxing and how relevant he made it. Like, British boxing has never been more relevant worldwide than it was the past decade. And that's because of Eddie Hearn and what he did with the Matchroom.
We want you guys to understand also that let's not get it confused that we chose the...
And I chose Bobby Arum as my promoter of the year the last 2 years in a row.
Of the year. So we're talking about of the decade.
We can't choose Al Heyman because he's an advisor.
And all his advisors are always on the shelf.
That's right.
Even De La Hoya said today, he said, I want to work with PBC, but they're so complicated about everything.
What's his name? Lawrence said that he thinks calling Floyd fight of the decade is a joke is a bit much. I don't think it is a bit much. This guy's getting rewarded for fighting kickboxers, MMA fighters, and not boxing for half a decade, and he's getting called fighter of the decade. No, you can't. I'm not gonna put him over guys like Roman Gonzalez.
You can't.
Who fought top competition. all comers.
We're not disrespecting. Like I said, I'm not disrespecting Floyd.
Made unprecedented.
All I'm saying is the integrity of the sport itself, boxing. When you're a boxer, you build your legacy on your resume on the boxers you fought. Not no MMA, not no Japanese ballet dancer, whatever it was, and then put him as an undefeated a win on your column when you could have fought a legit competitive boxer in the boxing sport itself and keep the integrity of the sport the way it is. That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
I can't be a football player and go to play baseball and how I say and say I'm the best player in football and come to baseball.
That's like LeBron James playing Wayne Gretzky or Alex. That's like LeBron James playing Alex Ovechkin 1-on-1, beating him and saying he's the best basketball player in the world.
I understand. We respect the boys. Like I said, I give him 110% on his business thing. But as far as you being the most undefeated, Ali, when Ali was undefeated, when all the back in the day, Rocky Marciano was undefeated.
They say he fought bums too, though. They said
I don't care.
The guys are old.
Okay, he could have fought bums, but did he go pick a baseball player or pick a fucking a badminton player to come in the ring and fight him and count him as a victory? Hell no. So you have to put integrity into the sport of boxing, and that is why Floyd Mayweather, I give him the respect as a businessman, but I will never put him to the cane of the fighter because he didn't fight our fighters in the ring for the 10 years.
Damn. Okay. PTSD's kicking in.
I'm good.
But yeah, Floyd did have some problems with southpaws, like with Zab Judah and them guys. So yeah, I see what you're saying.
No, I like him. I like him.
BT, I was watching Joe Rogan. He had some boxer named Kelly Pally. Just wondering, was he ever good? Was he ever good? Kelly Pally was a pretty good fighter in his day. You know, he had some great fights with Jermaine Taylor. Underrated by many, honestly. Kelly Pavlik, man. If you're looking for some good fights, man, I recommend you go back and you watch some Kelly Pavlik fights. You know, shout out to Kelly Pavlik from Youngstown, Ohio. You know, representing Youngstown, Ohio proudly. Rich wants to know. He said, "I wonder if Pops ever gets any noise complaints."
I only got it one time, but we caught it on the sheriff. He's here 24/7.
We had noise complaint one time.
No, we get no noise complaint. Basically, when I want to go live here, I go live late at night, and we got this older guy here. He's like in his late 60s.
He's 68.
68, and I call him the sheriff because he's always up and everything.
He's always patrolling the apartment complex.
He has my wife. He said, "What's going on in there?" Because all I hear is screaming about the fights and all this, and I'm passionate. And my wife had to explain, no, my husband's life is very passionate about the sport. But that also being said, I also have PTSD, and sometimes I just snap off the wall when things let my mind go. So, not using that as an excuse, but I'm very when it comes to boxing and the respect to any sport. Like, I don't agree with what the Boston Red Sox did, what the Houston Nationals did cheating in baseball, was integrity and respect for the game, and so forth and so forth. So what I'm getting at is, I give all the respects to Floyd Money Man. He made all that money. He figured out how to do it, and he's still doing it. Kudos to him. But as far as inside the ring, it's hard for me to say, okay, he's a fighter of the decade when he fought 2 MMA or whatever. The fighters that
one MMA fighter, one kickboxer,
and they counted as a record undefeated. How do you do that? Like, literally, how do you do that? You have to look into that. You can't just say a win is a win. No, a win's not a win. He didn't fight. He did not fight a legitimate boxer.
Get mad at the commission for sanctioning the fight.
Right, but he didn't fight a legitimate boxer that's supposed to be in the boxing game.
Facts.
That's just the bottom line.
Right.
You can't tell me, like I told you, I can't go into the UFC. Well, now who knows? You can do all kinds of shit. I can get to the UFC and be friggin' prime example right now. The women's boxing. Clarissa Shields and
Ali.
No, Clarissa Shields and Nunez from UFC. Okay, they want that fight to happen, right? If Clarissa Shields goes to the UFC and beats Nunez's ass in the UFC, there was no reason it should not be allowed that she should stay undefeated and put that in her boxing record.
Facts.
The same way that if Nunez went into boxing and she beat Clarissa Shields, that win should not count to anything. Floyd Mayweather didn't do that.
You mentioned cheaters, right? You mentioned the Boston Red Sox. You know who didn't cheat? Right here. We didn't cheat.
Yeah.
When the Marlins won the World Series, we didn't cheat in 2003.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why the Marlins keep losing 100 games every year. Because every year, but you know we've been pretty trash the last couple of years because we don't cheat.
What is it?
If we win, it's fair. If we lose, it's fair.
They're trying to get us?
They're trying to get us beat, man. Yo, shout out to the Marlins. Derek Jeter, the rebuild is in effect. We're gonna win like 70 games this year, and
that's it.
we're gonna slowly but surely get back to where we belong, and that's winning the World Series championship. Shout out to the Marlins.
Yeah.
Who do I think wins Wilder Fury 2? I'm picking Fury, but honestly, not with a lot of confidence, just because I think Wilder is going to be really, really hard to beat. Just really hard to beat because he's punching these guys left, right, and center, out, just, and he has a lot of confidence. And I just think with Fury, he's going to try to fight him. I don't think Fury's going to try to box. I think he will try to come fight him. If he does, I'm worried for him. You got to be careful with Wilder. Wilder's the eraser. And yeah, Lawrence, you damn right. Shout out to my.
I'm going for Fury.
I'm putting the hat back on. F it. I'm
going for Fury.
I'm putting the hat back on. Shout out to the Marlins, man. The freaking listen. Everybody always.
That Bomber's punch is deadly.
Everybody always talks bad about the Marlins because we've been trashed for so long, like the last 10 years or so. But listen, these are the facts. Only since the year of 1990, only 6 baseball franchises have won more World Series championships than the Florida Marlins.
Yeah.
No, my bad. Since 1990, only 6 baseball franchises have won multiple World Series titles, and the Marlins are one of them.
Yeah.
Since the Marlins came into the league, only the Yankees, Red Sox, and Giants have won more World Series titles than the Marlins since the Marlins came into the league in 1993. The only team, but really it's only the Yankees and Giants because the Red Sox are cheaters. So and the Yankees they didn't beat us, so F the Yankees. So it's really just the Giants. And the Giants, when the Marlins go to the playoffs, the Giants will whoop the Giants. The Marlins beat the Giants all the time. So,
guys, did you hear that Brady signing with the Dolphins?
No. I hope he does. I hope Tom Brady signs with the Dolphins. I'm dying.
Just tease him.
I'm dying for Tom Brady to go to the Dolphins so he can get exposed as a system quarterback that he is.
Listen, Wilder's a beast, man. You got that bomb. I ain't never taking that away from him. I mean, last fight we had one of my favorite fighters. He had his eyes rolling out of his ears. What you call it?
No, Lawrence had a great question because I know my man Lawrence. He comes here. He's a supporter.
What's that, Lawrence?
He tweets me on Twitter sometimes.
Yeah.
He DMs me sometimes on Twitter about Wilder, and he says, BT, if Wilder KOs Fury in 2 rounds, what does that tell you? I am of the belief if Wilder does, there won't be a Fury versus Wilder 3, and Joshua will run it high. I'll tell you this: if that scenario plays out, Wilder is the best heavyweight of his era.
Do you think that?
I'm telling you right now, he's the best heavyweight of his era if he does that. And you know what? You never know. Anthony Joshua might not want that smoke if he sees that Fury got stopped. We don't know. But I think Anthony Joshua will fight him. I think he will. If he doesn't, then I'll have a lot to say about that. I have a lot to say about that if he ducks Deontay Wilder.
The thing is, like you always tell me, BT, about Wilder, you said that you can say whatever you want about Wilder. We can say whatever you want with all due respect to him. You always say
he can fight.
That guy got that right hand, and somehow he always finds a way to put people's lights out.
He's got a left hook too.
And he's gotten better. No, to be even Brandon would tell you, Dad, he's gotten a lot better than what you think, right?
Yeah, like. See, I always say I would actually encourage everybody to go do this because it doesn't take a long time to do because most of the fights ended in a round anyway. Go back and you watch Deontay Wilder's fights when he was a prospect. I would implore you guys to go watch his fights against who the hell did he watch? Just any I forgot the name, but I went back when I was in the UK and had some time on my hands. When I was in the UK and had some time on my hands, I went ahead and I watched I watched his fights when he was a prospect. Against Damon McCreary and guys like that. And when you watch those fights, Damon McCreary and all those guys he fought on the way up, and you see him now, you can really see the improvements, and you can see how he's gotten better.
I think time has made him a better boxer, to be honest.
They brought him along, even though we don't agree with how they brought him along. They have brought him along the way he needed to be brought along because, I mean, his. There you go. I mean, let's look. Like he fought. So look, if you go back early in his career, I would implore everybody to go watch his fights against Damon McCreary. Owen Beck, that's another one. Dominique Alexander.
Yeah.
Dustin Nichols. I watched these fights. I was in the UK. I was watching all these fights.
Oh, you seen that?
I was, and it only takes you about 20 minutes to do.
Yeah.
Because they're all ending in the first round.
The fact of the matter is, the fact for 2020, he's got that devastating right hand. Facts. He's got that bomb. And like my son said, 3 years he's getting better. People have not seen it, but I've seen him improve. And yeah, we talk crazy about Wilder. We talk about sometimes not to spruce up the conversation because we have our reasons, whatever. But I'm saying in general, you gotta put respect to his name as
Yeah.
far as we're knocking people out, because there has been nobody stopping out. Nobody stopped him.
Nobody stopped him.
But he told me that Dad, he goes 12 rounds. He's still in the fight.
He's still in the fight.
I mean, when
You won't break his spirit.
and we almost had him. We almost voted him for the knockout of the year. It was close.
It was we had him
Between
against Brazil and Dortigos versus
Yeah.
Tabiti,
So
but I
I
stopped.
mean, so a Fury. The only thing I didn't like about Fury, even though I want Fury to win, is that I'm a firm believer. You don't face nothing. Don't face nothing that's not broken.
That's right.
And I think him splitting with Ben Davison is going to have a lot of effects on him.
Negative effects, right?
Yeah, big time. You don't have the same voice in you anymore. You know what I mean? So I think, but back to Wilder, you've got to put respect to his name, respect to his punching power, and realize that he's still a dominant champion in WBC. Everybody wants that belt, but if they can't hold out to that right hand and that knockout punch power he got, it could be good night lights out for everybody.
Everyone.
So if he already said it when he fights Fury, I'm gonna put his lights out for good. And I kind of see him going in it like he did with his Stavern. You see when he fought Stavern, he just attacked him.
I was there. I was there in person.
Yeah,
I was live in the
Stavern.
flesh.
I could see that from Wilder. I could see Wilder going in there and say, okay, Fury, you got up like the whatever Undertaker and WWF, but this ain't the WWF. I'm gonna knock the F out of you
Yeah.
and send you back to Alabama.
Lawrence says, don't be surprised if Wilder uses left hook to KO Fury. I hope the Dolphins land Brady. The Dolphins are a storied franchise. So the first part of the statement, yeah, I think his left hook is very underrated.
Who's
Wilder? He's got an underrated
Yeah.
left hook. He's got a good left hook. Nobody talks about it enough.
Have you guys seen anything better about him as far as skill wise that you think as time went along? I remember one video they had out there when wasn't it Lennox Lewis was teaching him how to jab way back in the day.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, what other improvements have you guys seen as boxers that made Wilder a better?
His jab is improved.
Yeah, jab.
His jab
We
is
already know
improved.
we got that right hand. His jab.
I think his right hand has improved over the years.
Yeah.
Even that's improved.
His foot speed. What do you think about his foot speed? What do you think about that? All stuff.
To your second part about the Dolphins, like, look, I'm not a Dolphins fan. If I had a second team, they'd probably be my second favorite team. I hope Brady goes somewhere like the Dolphins too, so people can see how much of a fraud he is. And yes, I said it. Tom Brady's a fraud. He's a system quarterback playing in the weakest division in football. And if he leaves the Patriots, I'm saying, listen,
I just teased him.
I get accused on here of being a hater of fighters. No. You want to see me hate somebody? I hate Tom Brady. I hate Tom Brady.
Let's go.
Fuck Tom Brady. I hope he retires. I can't wait for him to retire. He's a
Rosie,
bum.
Rosie, where you at to back me up?
He's a bum.
Rosie.
He's a system quarterback. He just throws
Yeah.
checkdowns all the time. There's nothing special about Tom Brady.
Listen.
Nothing.
My son
I
got
hate
very
him.
happy when they said,
When they lost to the Titans, I was so happy.
No, he said, Dad, you're not gonna believe the Dolphins ended the
Yeah, because
that was 2
the
weeks off.
Patriots lost to the Dolphins the week 17 and made it had to play an extra game, and because of that they lost to the Titans. So that made everything better. And they lost. He lost to Tannehill. You lost to Tannehill in the playoffs. I don't want to hear nothing about you being the greatest quarterback of all time. Bum.
And then the Red Sox come out cheaters. Oh my God! But I mean, back to Wilder. Wilder's good. I mean, you can't take that away from him. You gotta give him that respect, that power.
Oh man, why do you gotta bring this up? Chase Athletics had to bring this up.
What he said?
He says Newcastle with 2 goals in the 94th and 95th minute.
Hey, listen, I went to bed.
I was stunned. I couldn't believe it.
I told my son, I said, I get frustrated. I seen when
Moise Keane scored
scored the first goal. I was so happy for him. I said,
Well, it's hype.
BT, I'm going to sleep. They should win this game. I come back out. I see it 2-2. My son said, you show me things in the screen. 2 minutes left. Extra time. They had
2. They had 1. Not even 1 minute time left. And dude scores a bicycle kick.
You did say the manager made a bad call by changing.
His substitutions at the end of the game were horrible. Bringing on Umar Nias.
I'm talking soccer guys. In case
who can't. I can dribble better than Umar Nias. I don't even play soccer. Then brings on. I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just so done with this season. Everything can go screw off for the rest of the year.
Kite, yeah. Back to boxing.
Yeah, Virgil Ortiz versus Ray Robertson, that's the kind of step of fight I want to see. Then I'll know, because you guys are saying this guy's better than Jerron Ennis, which I know
Virgil Ortiz.
Jerron Ennis hasn't fought nobody. I understand that.
He adjusts as the fight goes on.
He has had nobody. We don't know how he adjusts. He's had nobody to adjust to. Who has he had to adjust to? These light punching, past their prime, 147-pound fighters, 140-pound fighters.
When that fight happens,
Jerron Ennis is going to beat the shit out of him when they fight.
Bring him on.
We're going to beat the hell out of him. True School Sports. Why is it European heavyweights always get the IBO, IBF, WBO, WBA, but never get the WBC? Now that's a question. That's a good question right there.
Wow,
I haven't put too much thought into that, but if I had to answer off rip like that, I would just probably say because maybe the WBC seems to pander to more of the American and Mexican fighters. That's my opinion. I think they pander more to those kind of fighters, but I can't. I don't really have a clear cut answer on that. LA12 says, thoughts on Usyk's performance versus Chaz Witherspoon. That was a very uninspiring performance, but he did what he had to do. I want to see. I mean, it's gonna take time to adjust to heavyweight. I'm not gonna draw too many conclusions from that fight because it's against a late replacement. I think we won't really know how good Usyk is until they put him in there with like a Parker or someone like that. I want to see him fight a Parker first before I see him fight the big boys. If he can beat a Parker, then we'll know. If he can look good against a Parker and beat Parker, then we'll know how good he is. Virgil would KO the guy Ennis just fought in 2 rounds. I agree with that. Yeah, he would beat the hell out of him. What do you think? What round do you think he would KO? The guy that Ennis just fought, Ubov. What round do you think Virgil Ortiz would KO that guy in? The guy Ennis just fought when he's watching fight.
Yeah.
With no defense.
I'm gonna say first, second, maybe third.
Third round.
I'll give benefit of doubt.
Third. Okay, so you're going with the wrong. I'll go second. I agree with you, Mitch. We'll agree on something. Brady is better than Drew Bledsoe. I mean, yeah.
I honestly think
after the injuries, yeah.
Phillip Rivers just moved here to Miami from San Diego. I think he's gonna sign. With Miami, and I think Brady. There were rumors of saying he might go to the Chargers or the Raiders.
He moved from San Diego to Miami.
Yeah. He
moved from one great city to another.
Yeah.
Because I've heard San Diego is beautiful. I want to go to San Diego really badly.
Yeah.
Chisora versus Usyk. That's another one. That's another fight. That's another fight. We need to see for Usyk just to see where he's at.
He wants to fight Tom. Nobody's want to fight him. I guess. I don't know.
Is Jose Lopez winning a world championship the biggest upset? I hope he gets the tune-up for Spence. The biggest upset? I don't know, man. This Rosario fight was a pretty big upset this week. Ruiz was a big upset. What else was an upset?
Jose Lopez. Who's he fighting next?
I don't know, but he won a world title. I forgot who he beat for the world title, but I remember he won a world title years ago. Chisora versus Jarrell Miller. That'd be a good one. That'd be a good one.
Chisora.
That press conference would be wild.
Yeah, that's crazy, but Chisora. I'm taking Chisora. I lost all my faith in Big Baby.
That was your guy for a while.
Yeah, it was.
That was your guy.
Accusing Josh of taking all the shit.
And he's more drugged out than a pharmaceutical.
Yeah, so I can't.
In a pharmacy.
Yeah.
Did you watch Ballers? No, I haven't watched Ballers in a while. The last time I watched an episode of Ballers was like a couple years ago.
What is it?
The show on HBO called Ballers with The Rock.
Oh yeah.
I haven't watched it in years. I used to watch it at my boy's house, but I don't really watch that anymore. Virgil Ortiz would stop Ray Robinson, and that'd be a statement because Ray Robinson last year he fought Kavaluskas, he fought Josh Kelly, so he fought some name fighters at welterweight, and he fought them both to draws. So he's shown that he's at a certain level that he's quality. He's a tall, lanky, rangy, boxer who likes to move with good amateur experience. Put Virgil in there with him. Let's see how Virgil looks against somebody who can actually move, that isn't shot, that he doesn't got great punching power. But I think if he beat Ray Robinson and stopped him, that to me would be his best win. Mean Machine has no gas tank. Yeah, Terrence Crawford just folded him up towards the end of that fight. But I knew it was coming when Crawford switched to, I think it was Orthodox. You knew it was coming. Because he's a better boxer from the southpaw split stance than he is the Orthodox stance. So I knew once he switched, that was gonna be it for Mean Machine. Mean Machine wasn't gonna be mean enough to deal with all that. Yeah, it's your boy BT. We are live here on YouTube. Got about 10 minutes left here before we go ahead and get out. I hope you guys have enjoyed the live so far.
Yeah, it was great.
I mean, we're not done yet. We got about 10, 12 minutes left, so you get your questions in. Anything you want, anything goes right now. This is the anything goes out. So anything goes. We can talk about boxing. Any boxing questions are definitely welcome. Any boxing comments are definitely welcome. Any sports comments are definitely welcome. Any comments about, I don't know. If you want to talk about women, we can talk about women. We can talk about whatever, quantum physics. We can talk about whatever.
Currently, 3 of the 4 organized belts are held by the PBC.
What if your pops was a ring announcer? Would he embarrass you in public? No, I think he'd be the most lit ring announcer of all time. In fact, yo, why would why don't you try to become a ring announcer?
Let's go, ready to rumble. People are sleeping.
No, there's no way people sleep around your ass.
Yeah.
You would get everybody hyped.
Listen, when I was in the military, you can say that I was the shortest guy in the military. That's just facts.
Okay.
But when I screamed or I yelled loud, people turned the whole platoon, the whole look back and said, where the hell's that noise coming from? Yeah, man. It just carried.
Yo.
Yeah, I'll get pumped up. Shoot.
You know what? We're gonna talk to Johnny and the fine folks at Bad Promotions.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna see.
Welcome everybody to tonight's big Bad Promotions main event.
They want to know.
Yeah.
They want to know what's your listed height. What is your height, Dad? How tall are you?
I'm actually 4'11", with about 8 other inches. That's we can't talk about that.
Oh man.
I'm just joking. About 4'11", 5'2".
Yeah.
5'2".
I would say I'm about 5'5" or 5'6", right?
4'11". I'm short. You can tell
if he's 4'11", right?
5
For
feet,
me to be as tall
I
as
ain't scared nobody.
for me to be as tall as I am, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be this tall.
Yeah. I used to.
So BT, do you get your height from your mom? I would say probably yeah.
My mom is short.
Is my mom is my mom taller than you?
Yeah.
My mom was taller than you.
Yeah.
Yo, so that just show you how much of a dog my dad was, how amazing he was. Cause to pull females being the shorter guy. I mean, listen, if you're dope, you're dope. You can get any female you want. But listen, he did it twice. He did it twice.
Campbell
had 2 kids.
Fortuna fighting for WC title match, please, man. This is old, no. It's actually today. Campbell versus Fortuna.
Do you think Blueface is trash? Blueface is horrible. Blueface is a rapper.
No,
He raps off beat on purpose. He's trash, and he's one of the many rappers from this current generation that are pissed in on hip hop music, which I love so much.
Look, man, it's not a fight here for the lightweight. Campbell versus Fortuna.
BT, have you spoken? Hold on, huh?
Campbell Fortuna.
Yeah.
Then you have Austin. What are these guys?
Delay versus Diego Magdaleno.
Russell Jr. wants Tank Davis at Michigan Stadium.
But someone asked me, did I have I talked to Bo recently? Yes, Riddick Bo was recently at the local fight card. In fact, tomorrow you guys are gonna see a Riddick Bo video on the channel, so be on the lookout for a Riddick Bo video to drop tomorrow. It's you'll see him. It's of him backstage at the fight with one of the local fighters, Blake Davis. So please be on the lookout for that. It's really good footage. He's good. But Riddick Bo has lost weight. The most recent update I can give you on Bo is that apparently he still works. So listen to this. So for those of you who follow me video by video, you guys may remember I made a video about the heavyweight factory closing down. And it's so the gym has closed down. Like there's no bags or rings or anywhere in the gym area, but the office apparently is still open.
Yeah.
So Riddick Bo still works at Heavyweight Factory.
Yeah, I asked him.
He's just sitting in the office. So
hey,
I'm gonna go visit him in the office at some point. I don't know when, but I'll let you guys know when I plan on doing that, and we'll go there and we'll probably do an interview with him.
I said, Bo, I said, you working in the office? He says, I ain't going nowhere. I'm right here. Come get some. But he said, I'm the boogeyman at 135. Nobody's calling me out. And then he says, other fighters thank Al Heyman. I thank Bill Haney. So that is,
oh man, Bill Haney's his dad. Chase Athletic says, I can't wait for your visit to Mundo Boxing Gym. Yes, I actually just interviewed a young fighter from Mundo Boxing Gym who fought on this past weekend's Bad Promotions card, which is a local fight card, which was the first ever Bad Promotions card by Bad Promotions, is a new promotional company that started by a prospect here named Blake Davis. He's like 5-0, 2 KOs, local guy, very raw, still trying to find himself in the boxing ring. But this kid, Anthony White Chocolate Martinez, fought on the card. And he's from Mundo Boxing Gym. He sparred like Luis Ortiz and things like that. So go check that out if you haven't done so already. We plan. I don't know when I'm going to Mundo Boxing Gym, but I want to find out when Hergovic is there because that's when I really want to be there.
Yeah.
When Hergovic is there, I want to be there.
I want to talk to him.
I want to talk to him. So
we'll let you know. He'll come out. Just like so much going on.
Yeah. Biggest hype job prospect. Oh, that's easy. Joey Spencer.
Yeah.
No
Did you see his last fight?
doubt about it. Huh?
The last fight was boring as hell. I fell
They
asleep.
need to pull his ass off TV. I'm sorry. I know.
I mean, they got all these fighters in there that got better that they put in there. They don't do, but they want to put this guy in there.
Yo, I remember when Chris Colbert was when Lil Beehive was a prospect, he couldn't get on TV. But Joey Spencer get on TV.
And let me tell you, he earned his way though. Colbert.
He fought some decent competition before he was on TV.
Remember when you interviewed him for the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did Riddick Bowe vacate the WBC belt?
Oh, man.
No, he wants to know. He doesn't know.
Okay.
Why did he pursue the belt? Why did he pursue the belt again after he was WBO champion? Okay, well, the reason that fight didn't happen with Lennox Lewis is because his team and Lennox Lewis's team, they couldn't come to an agreement on purse splits. Rock Newman had made Lennox Lewis's team multiple offers.
You understand what purse splits did?
Yeah, percentages.
Okay.
They had made him multiple offers. They couldn't come to an agreement. So eventually, they would the WBC strip. He knew the WBC was gonna strip him. So before they stripped him, he just threw the belt in the trash. Then when he became WBO champion, believe it or not, there was a deal in place for them to fight for the titles after he became WBO champion in the mid '90s. But then what happened was Lennox Lewis got stopped by, I believe it was either Rockman or McCall, one of those two guys. So then the fight never happened, and I think Bo moved on after he got knocked out and fought Golada. That's basically what happened.
There was a video there too, Brent. Tell him.
I made videos about this on my channel, so you can go
Proof that
go look it up.
On live shows from Frank Bruno and all the heavyweight.
What is the most overplayed song in Florida? That is a great question.
Oh my God.
Let me see. Right now, I would say any song from Kodak Black is the most overplayed. We were in the ghetto today. We were in Overtown, Miami today. We were in the hood today.
Wynwood.
We were in the hood, Miami today, and
we passed by.
I would say anything Kodak Black related is very overplayed here. But yeah, it was cool. Like, man, I went to some parts of Miami today that I don't normally go to. Well, Overtown.
They went to Overtown.
Overtown's like where the Haitian drug cartels are. That's where I was today. So it was an interesting experience to say the least. What is the worst artist to perform the national anthem in boxing? I will say that the worst would be either no, it was I don't know if it was in boxing. I think it was Dallas basketball. I was gonna say Carl Lewis, the sprinter.
Yeah.
He performed the national anthem.
Did he?
It was the worst one of all time. Yeah, it was horrible. The worst, I don't know. I was watching Joe Calzaghe versus Bernard Hopkins. I don't know. I didn't like Ray J. I think Ray J did pretty bad. Yeah. Even though Ray J's a decent singer, I didn't like the way he sung the national anthem. So we'll go with Ray J. I didn't like Ray J. One hit wonder ass Ray J. But yeah. What's next for Keith Thurman? He's a Florida boy. Yeah, he's a Florida boy, but he's not. He ain't South Florida though. He's Tampa Bay. He's like that's like Western Florida. That's like 3-4 hours west of where I live. So he's a Florida boy.
But that's a trip we want to take one day too.
That is a trip me and him are talking about doing one day.
Train, we have to go that way.
That's right. What's next for him though? I mean, it's a big year for him. He's kind of like the forgotten guy in the division because he hasn't been very active the last couple of years, and now he lost to Pacquiao. I would say this. This is what I would say. If he can get himself a decent win under his resume, I wouldn't mind seeing a Danny Garcia rematch with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to Pacquiao.
Well, hey, we can't go. We can't go. We want in life.
That's true.
So I wouldn't mind seeing that. Wasn't Floyd avoiding Keith when he was the #1 contender? Yes, and that's another reason why Floyd can't be the fighter of the decade. You can't duck.
Floyd didn't fight him.
Keith Thurman was Floyd Mayweather's mandatory for the WBA title for like 4 years.
Wow.
Floyd never fought him. He didn't want no smoke, so Pacquiao had to clean that mess up. Floyd ducked Lara. Did he? I don't know about that one. Lara's at 154. Could you really say he ducked Lara? Why do you say that, LA12? I know he didn't want to fight Lara. To be honest with you, I'm glad he didn't fight Lara. Lara versus Floyd would be one of the boringest fights of all time.
This is just like BS. He always does this thing.
Who?
Adrian Broner, when he asks money, he did it before on Instagram for nothing. He's just getting attention. That's all. This is look from the Source Entertainment.
I miss Adrian Mo. I always fight him.
I like it. Yeah. He ain't have no financial problems.
Haitian, I like them lots. They make the perfect gangsters. They're stand-up guys. They about it, but they keep their word and got principles.
Who's this?
Talk about Haitians in general. Yeah, listen. Growing up in South Florida, Dania Beach, stand up. I had a lot of friends who are Haitian. Some of my best, closest friends that I've had throughout my life have been Haitian, believe it or not. And yeah, I would say the same thing. They're very hardworking people, honest. Shout out to the Haitians, all the Zoes. I saw that. Yeah, boxing talk with Aid. He works for Sky Sports, and shout out to him. He's interviewing Anthony Joshua. God bless him. He's doing big things.
I mean, we live in this area we live now. I always talk about everything about the experience, and it's heavily populated with Haitians, and they're one of the nicest people here. I'm serious. I haven't had no problems here. I have more problems back south than I had over here.
What do you mean, like in Broward?
Like, yeah, I mean, I have no problems here with other people here. They're pretty cool with me.
BT, is Zoes a clique? Zoes are what so Haitians Haitians refer to themselves as Zoes, but yes, there is a gang in South Florida called the Zoe Pound, and they are a big Haitian drug cartel. So if you hear about the Zoe Pound, that's the Haitian gang, but Haitians will commonly refer to themselves and their friends or family as Zoes. So yes. BT, is New York overrated? Absolutely.
You just tell them the thing.
Hey, yes, it is. I always tell people that have never been to America, if you come to America, do not come to New York because you're cheating yourself, because New York is not like the rest of America. That's number one. Number two, it's a cesspool of people. It's like it's not that big as you think it is. Like I remember the first time I went to New York, and it was to go cover Crawford versus London like 4 years ago, and I was walking down Manhattan, and I was in Times Square. I didn't even know because there's no sign to say Times Square. You're just walking Times Square. I'm like, so it started to look familiar because what I seen on TV, I'm like, is this Times Square? And someone was like, yeah, this is Times Square. I'm like, this is it? This is all the Times Square is? So
what are we talking about?
It's nice. It's cool to go to for 3 or 4 days, but it's to me it's very overrated, especially when you come from South Florida.
Well, you were telling me we're talking about boxing or something. And I was like, the best place to go to New York. No, New York's not the best place to go. And you were telling me it's overrated.
It is. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Who is the best prospect in boxing? I think Daniel Dubois, hands down. I'm gonna go with Jerron Ennis or Virgil Ortiz.
For what?
Best prospect any weight class in boxing.
I'm taking Virgil Ortiz, and I like DDD. So
that'd be a great fight. Amir Khan versus Adrian Broner. Who would win? Who you want to see them? Who you think win? Who do you think?
Amir Khan made enough money. They both made enough money.
I want to see Adrian.
About both of them.
I want to see Adrian Broner versus Chris Algieri, and I want to see Amir Khan versus.
Did they fought before?
Who? No, and I want to see Amir Khan versus Jeff Horn.
That'd be good.
Nah, I know these are random fights, but for some strange reason, these are just people I want to see. In fact, I want to see that on the same card. I want to see Jeff Horn versus Amir Khan.
You on my side?
Yeah.
Nigga?
Oh, God. Well, Adrian, I always love Adrian Broner because he told Leonard Ellaby the truth. He said Leonard Ellaby, he's a bitch ass nigga too.
You on the other side.
You on the other side. They want to see me get beat. It's like, I'm not losing no Jesse Vargas. You got me fucked up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I love Adrian Broner for that. They don't want us. Adrian Broner will stop Amir Khan.
Yep.
I agree.
That's crazy.
Adrian Broner.
Get that soft ass, chin.
Yo, if Ivan Redcat gets stopped in this fight, I want to see Adrian Broner versus Ivan Redcat.
Yeah?
Ivan Redcat. Because Adrian Broner was talking about it. He was saying, I'm trying to get the Ivan Redcat money.
How much is he getting?
I don't know, but...
He get any kind of money. He just got to by that girl. He's broke.
Oh, yeah, Bad Baby. Danielle Bergoli.
Is that who pursued him?
Yeah.
No, he was in a bar or something.
No.
And it was 300 and something. Yeah.
Why was Virgil Hunter avoiding True School Sports? Jesus, one SS has really been watching this channel to know about that. That happened.
Oh, wait. Yeah,
that happened 3 years ago, but for those who don't know, story time here on True School Sports. So I went to the Kovalev Ward fight as a fan.
Yeah.
You know, but I did do some, I did do some work. I did some work, I was like, because like when you go to the Mandalay Bay, right? When you go to the Mandalay Bay, there's a place that all the fighters and trainers have to walk through, and anybody can just stand there and wait for them, and you'll see all the fighters and whatnot. So whatever fighters or trainers walk by, I would ask them for an interview, and if they said yes, I do interviews with them. So like that week I interviewed Don Turner, which was one of my biggest interviews. I interviewed Don Turner. I interviewed John David Jackson, Derek James. Brian Jennings, and a lot of people. But I saw Virgil Hunter, right? I didn't see War, but I saw Virgil Hunter. Virgil Hunter walks by, right? So I asked him. I saw him twice. The first time I see him, I asked Virgil. I say, Virgil, can I do an interview with you for my YouTube channel? So Virgil says yes when I come back out. So I said, okay, no problem. I don't force myself on nobody.
Yeah.
I just say okay. So he comes back out, and when he's walking, I see him. I approach him again, and this is as he's making his way towards the escalator. So I say, Virgil, can we do that interview we talked about? So like imagine that the escalator is like right at the end of this couch, and as I'm asking him that, right, Virgil Hunter has this real scared look in his eye, and he's like, what YouTube channel are you with? And as I'm getting ready to answer this question, he's taking these little half steps back. So I tell him True School Sports. And by the time I get the words True School Sports out of my mouth, this guy's up the escalator and he just ran away. So then I made a video saying that he basically dubbed me for an interview because that's what happened. So Virgil Hunter didn't want no smoking. Ever since that day, I mean, even before that day, I used to always make fun of him as a trainer. But now I make fun of him extra because he says things like, you got to have family. And you got to be a shark in the ocean. And go out there and don't throw a punch for a whole round.
Yeah. Crazy stuff.
When Adonis Stevenson's out there trying to kill you. Jeff Horn versus GGG? Oh my God. It's a big fight.
Yeah.
For all the marbles.
Yeah.
That's what we need to see. I'm going with Jeff Horn. No, I'm joking. Nah, GGG would beat the hell out of Jeff Horn. Even now. Jeff Horn, man. Jeff Horn. I still can't believe he got a win against Pacquiao. That's the craziest thing. He when he retires in boxing, whether he got a gift or not, he can always say he beat Manny Pacquiao. He can tell his grandkids, I defeated Manny Pacquiao.
One of the greatest boxers
I'm the greatest fighters of all time. So, kudos to him. He's the cash cow of Australian boxing. He's doing this thing, making it happen. Well, with that being said, we are past the 3-hour mark here on True School Sports.
Yep.
And with that being said, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for being live with us. We will be live tomorrow for the
Quigley.
for the Jason Quigley fight.
Yeah.
And Saturday we'll be live for the Danny Garcia fight. And on top of that, there's content from last week's local fights that's still coming out. There will be a Riddick Boyle video dropping tomorrow, so I'll be on the lookout for that. There's other videos that I got at the 5th Street Gym from the just yesterday. I interviewed some local fighters. I interviewed Jason Rosario's trainers and coaches, so they gave their thoughts on the fight. You'll see stuff like that. So a lot of great content coming out here on True School Sports as usual. We're keeping it moving. So with that being said, you guys have a great night. We're out of here.
Thank you.
Lots of lives coming up. Subscribe. Do all that good stuff. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys. Roman Gonzalez, fighter of the decade.
Goodbye. Thank you.